Hey, this is Chase Sexton. You're listening to the MotoXpod show.
What's up, you guys? Jeremy McElrath here. You are listening to MotoXpod show.
Welcome back to the Vital MX MotoXpod show, presented by Racetech and Yamaha Motor USA. We're glad to be back with a great lineup, which includes Rockstar Husqvarna's Christian Craig, Mad Park Kawasaki Shane McElrath, and Honda HRC mechanic for Joe Shimoda, Ben Griffith. We're going to get to all those things, our thoughts on Unadilla. Chase Sexton won another overall, but man, Hunter kept it close, and that first moto was awesome. We're going to get into a lot of that stuff. What else do we talk about tonight, guys? I guess I probably should introduce you first, but I'm not really ready to. I just don't want to unmute your mics.
Yeah, I mean,
you're muted still, so I don't know why you're talking.
We do this every time. You ask us questions, and
so just sit there and be quiet.
Yeah.
Just sit there and be quiet. All right, yeah, it's going to be a good title fight to the end still, I think. I don't know, points are getting a little bit, actually getting a pretty big gap, but the racing's still pretty good. Lots to talk about tonight. But let's introduce our co-host so he doesn't get sad and get all, I mean, you're over there yelling at me with your mic off, Scotty. How are you doing tonight?
I was doing pretty good until you started the show off like that.
I mean, you were really aggressive though.
Yeah.
Well, he always does that. He mutes us, and then he's like, "Oh, what do you think, guys?" And we're just sitting here muted, like we can't. And then he complains about the quality of the show.
That I said, "What do you think?" I said, "There's lots to talk about."
You left an open-ended question to us. You did
just for the audience to think. Wasn't ready for you yet, Scotty.
Did we get? Did we get the tissue?
No, I sent the tissue with the socks. They're on their way.
Yeah, Jesus.
God. Anyway, lots to talk about. We'll talk about. I rode this weekend. Your bike's fixed. I think.
Thanks for ruining my lows or highs.
I think TJ.
Talk about it.
I mean,
anyways,
this dude's about to piss me off.
I like
you
it.
can mute him.
I might have to.
He's just back there yelling.
TJ's also in studio. What's going on, TJ?
What's going on?
Same group of guys. You haven't got your job back yet, and it makes me happy. Every Tuesday when I check to see if you're coming, and you're coming, I'm so glad you don't have a job.
Either this weekend or the next weekend, job or no job, I may not be here.
Why?
Because I'm going to go get some restrictions lifted off my CDL just while I have
Why do you got
time.
to do it on Tuesday?
Well, it's a week-long course thing. I think it's Tuesday. I don't know.
Man, that's a bunch of bullshit.
Well, I mean, I may make it in time. It's in Henderson. How long will it take to get to Henderson from here?
Not far. It's like
hour,
about the
hour
same.
15.
No, I'll probably make it then.
Okay. But anyway, as I was saying, Unadilla, Chase gets another overall, but Hunter Lawrence, man, that first moto was amazing. He's on that new 25 Honda. We'll talk about our thoughts on that, what we think that was the reason he was so much better in that first moto. If it was the time off, got lots of good stuff to talk about. Well, let's jump into our Racetech open discussion. Racetech is the world's largest aftermarket motorcycle suspension modification company, and they have over 35 years of experience providing factory-level suspension to the everyday rider. They also are known for building a reliable, world-class engine, which requires a combination of state-of-the-art equipment and experienced, knowledgeable technicians. Racetech provides quality, precision engine services using the best equipment and processes in the industry. So you can go to racetech.com. You can get help on your suspension. You can get help with rebuilding an engine. You can find out where your local service center is if you want to get your stuff serviced. Talk to your local tech, get to know them. Racetech.com, fantastic website. I help you out a ton with your motorcycle. All right, Unadilla. Let's start with leading into the week. TJ, just with all the news clips we were getting, I thought that track was going to be underwater and it was going to be almost unraceable, and it turned out to be very raceable. What a good job by the track crew. And the preparation was, even though the track isn't one of the most fun tracks according to most of the riders, it was a lot better than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, that track looks like it would be, to me, always looked like it'd be a lot of fun on like a practice day.
Yeah.
And then when we're coming into the weekend, I'm like, I was really glad I don't play fantasy because I'm like, I don't know who's good in the mud and, and all this kind of stuff. And so it turned out to be a great weekend and surprisingly raced pretty good.
Yeah.
Scotty?
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was probably one of the more ruddy Unadillas I can remember in a while. I mean, it always gets pretty
Hammered.
Deep ruts, but it seemed like there was a lot more little ones than normal. But I mean, yeah, I thought the racing was good. I mean, I think you can say that first moto in the 450s was probably the best battle for the lead we've had since 22, probably. I mean, what else has really been better than that, where they just stayed on each other the whole time?
I mean, I feel like there's been a couple of good races, but
this year in outdoors?
Oh, I thought you said...
Or this year and last 22. Year? Well, yeah, because Jet won everything last year. It was boring.
Man, I don't know. I don't find the racing boring, guys. I'm sorry that both of you hate the sport.
I think that... I think last year it wasn't boring because... It was, is he going to do it? Or we're not going to talk about it yet. We're not going to talk about it yet. And then when we started talking about it, I think that was
It did make for good racing, though. Your point is somewhat, I agree with you. It did make for good racing.
What? My point's valid? Oh, my God.
You should just leave it alone.
Jeez. The point of this is they did a really good job of getting the track sealed, and it was better than I expected. I too was making fantasy picks based off who I thought might be good in the mud. And then I went riding and didn't pay any attention until I got home that afternoon.
Did you have time to change?
Didn't look at qualifying. I haven't looked at qualifying. Like I make my picks on Thursday or Friday, and then I just don't care anymore.
Dumb.
I'm kind of over it at this point because I've been so bad that I just don't care. So
you'll be me next year, where you just like.
I don't think I'll not play. I need to find the love of the game again.
Well,
why was that funny?
That was just the way you said it was funny. I don't know.
For the love of the game.
Yeah.
All right. I said a minute ago in the intro that, like, I think I said something like that. They're basically alluding to that maybe Hunter could make this a good championship. No, the championship is over points-wise, I believe.
But I do believe without a crash or something.
Yes, but I do believe that Hunter could make this exciting, that he very well may be able to get his first overall in these next two rounds if Chase isn't going to push quite so hard. And it seems as though Hunter has healed up. The 3 weeks off did him a lot of good. Mentally, he keeps talking about this new bike, the 25, if that's making a difference.
Yeah, but...
Actually making a difference or just mentally.
How did he finish overall?
Second.
That's what I'm saying.
But I'm saying, with the way he rode in Moto 1, I could see him getting an overall and making a race exciting. Not so much the championship, but...
Yeah, but I guess I don't feel like anything's really changed from before the break. Like... Chase could not beat him in that first moto. Then he got a bad start. So if he could do that 2 motos in a row, he can get overall. So you think that gap that Chase put on the second moto was just like Hunter would have been right there with it?
I don't know, TJ, but I do know in the first.
We don't know.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't think so. I think Chase was on a different level in the second moto, but in the first moto, Chase passed him. Hunter passed him right back, and then Chase could not get back by him. Well, so if we could see that, I see likely that we could see that in one of these next 2 races, especially if Chase says, you know what, I don't really need to beat him.
But hasn't Chase done that all season long where he had a bad first moto? We call it bad, second place or whatever.
Yes.
And then runs away the second moto?
That's not my point.
Well, I mean, everybody, I've heard, not just you, but other people in the industry talking about how, there's a big change for the bike and big this. If there's no different than any other race weekend.
The results did not end up any different, but he looked better. He looked a million times better.
I think it has more to do with the break from the injury than anything.
I do too. But he did keep talking about the bike, so we don't know for sure that at least mentally he's like, "Oh, I'm better." You mean
he's promoting the race brand that he works for? Crazy.
I'm about to end the show.
Hey, I'm with him.
Hold on. He could be. Can you not say you've seen this with other guys where they switch bikes, they get the new bike, and they go. Just mentally, they're like, "Oh, I'm better on it," so they think they're better. That's the point. It could be that.
Well, let's see what happens this next weekend.
It probably is that, but he's gonna say the bike.
Because to me, right now, it's the same old as it's been all season long.
I'm about to text Hunter.
I really did like to look at those Hondas. That retro decal on the graphic on the shrouds was really cool. I thought it looked good.
Bikes did look good. The Huskies looked really good.
I really like those Huskies too.
Good job, Husky.
Husky should sell that model, that color plastic.
Okay, so you guys are going to just shit on Hunter.
Whoa.
Hunter, I believe in you.
Yes.
I believe in you. I see you getting the overall. I'm going to call it an Ironman.
How was that
Overall.
me shitting on Hunter? I was just shitting on you.
No, you're like, nope, Hunter just promoting the brand. He doesn't really believe it.
No,
he's not,
you were
he's not
saying-
going to get overall.
You were saying that he keeps saying the bike, and all I was saying was like, "Oh, it's crazy! A guy promoting the
But
brand
he
he rides
chose
for."
to ride that bike.
Hold on,
He didn't
on.
have to.
I'm not saying that he didn't. I'm just saying to the point that you were making specifically at that time.
No,
that's what I was saying.
It wasn't. You're not listening. The point was,
Oh my God.
do you think that him riding that bike mentally might have made an improvement because he thought he was better on the bike?
I mean, yeah.
Okay, that was my point.
And then coming to my thing, I'm saying, okay, has Hunter got an overall this year?
No, he's never had one, but he's
Okay.
going to get one at Ironman.
Okay.
I know you don't believe in him.
The point I'm just trying
All
to
right,
make
it's time
is
for the Yamaha Motor USA highs and lows.
We need to bring Lewis on.
do not disagree with
Yeah.
I'm not in the mood tonight.
He didn't get the breadsticks.
Yeah, that's what it is. We're all lacking
I'm not
cheesy
eating pizza
breadsticks
anymore. I'm out. I'm back on my program.
Are you?
Yeah.
As long as you get it for us, we're good.
No, you're getting salads next week.
With pizza?
Salads with olive oil.
With pizza?
Oh,
No,
no.
salad.
Maybe some blue cheese, and we're talking.
No, salad. Troll training. You're on troll training when you're at my house.
Ranch.
Nope. Salad.
I am not eating.
Leaves
I am not
with
eating,
olive oil.
I'm not eating food.
Anyway, okay. Let's try to get through this segment so that we could get to
We
Christian
can
Craig.
try.
I don't even know where we are. I'm so lost right now.
I like it.
So neither one of you. Well, you know what? I know.
Yeah. Y'all go
Scotty,
Yes, sir.
can TJ? Jesus Christ.
Bro, we have him rattled. Hey, you're shaking the cameras.
Will Hunter Lawrence get an overall in the next two final rounds?
Yes.
Okay. Which round? You don't have to. I mean, it could be either one, but do you think you see it more likely at one or the other?
Probably Iron Man.
Okay. All right. So TJ is.
Stop acting like an idiot. You're the idiot.
Don't be an idiot. Changed my life.
Here's the question.
Because hold on, because Chase will
Yeah,
only
hold on, TJ.
after the first moto, Chase will probably be okay and won't have to just the second moto is just going to be finished.
Yeah, I think he's up by 20.
that's the only reason I say that.
I just feel like he can finish second and be fine. Hunter was.
Actually, or maybe it'd be the first moto where he's like, okay, I just got to like make sure that I don't go underneath 25 points, and then the second one I was like, all right, well, just have fun. So I don't know.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see.
Hunter's going to get the overall.
So if it was a really tight points race and it was going to go down to the last round,
Where Chase has to push.
where Chase has to push, do you think Hunter gets overall?
I think
a good point.
I'll say I believe he could.
No,
but
yes or no? Do you
But
think he
I'm
will?
going
I
to
would
say
say no.
no, he does not.
Okay, that's where I'm at.
But I'm also not basing that on
Yeah.
the points aren't.
I'm
that
only
tight.
basing mine on the fact that Chase will just try to be safe in the
Yeah, I
last round.
specifically said that. Like, I think he will probably he can back it down, and he might. Like, he's not going to go. Oh, I have to beat Hunter.
I wonder if the beating Hunter is like in a way makes him feel like I'm beating the Honda brothers. You know, you know.
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
I don't think so.
I was thinking of this. Isn't it kind of funny how like Chase was moving to KTM and then like there's pretty much been question mark about that like all year. And then, you know, he's off a Honda, Jet wins the Supercross title, and it's like looking like Honda's like, you know, the greatest thing in the sport right now. And then now all of a sudden here we are and Chase is probably going to win. KTM's probably going to win a outdoor title. They won one of the Lights indoor titles. It's kind of crazy that how much that's turned. Like you didn't think that at the beginning of the year that this is where we would be.
No, because we all know how good Jet is, and really, wouldn't have expected it. But check out Hurt. That's part of the sport, right? So let's jump into these Yamaha Motor USA highs and lows real quick. Yamaha has a reputation for dominance. It doesn't happen overnight. It's built over decades. The YZ story is 50 years of iconic machines and groundbreaking innovations. Yamaha's new 50th anniversary edition YZs pay tribute to the half-century of championship-winning performance wrapped in stunning retro style. So check them out at YamahaMotorsports.com or go to your local dealership and check them out. Looking forward to trying the new 25. I hope some of them are at the Pulp Ride Day. It'd be cool to get a little test ride on one of the 25s. The 24 is a lot of fun. I am missing my 24 right now. But Yamaha Motor USA, highs and lows. I'm going to go highs. Marchbanks with a 6.4 for fourth overall. That was awesome to see. Kenny being back, his results weren't amazing, but it's just good having Kenny and Cooper back. Honestly, even though Cooper's performance was actually even less than Kenny's, still just like having those guys back. Eli's back this coming weekend. The fact that it wasn't a mudder, and then Dylan Ferrandis, he was so close to getting overall or to the podium on that second moto. So I was kind of bummed for him, but I just thought watching him do well at Unadilla, I would like to see that continue over the next couple rounds. We'll see if it was just a freak thing because of Unadilla, but those are my highs. My lows are the injuries, Shimoda, Hymas, Cochran, and then what? Oh, okay. And then I rode the 350 again, and I'm still trying to figure that thing out, and I had a big crash at Swan. I just got really lucky where I landed.
Really?
Yeah, I landed in some soft. So we can talk about that if we get time in a little bit, but I'm not as comfortable on that bike as I was the Husky a couple years ago. And the front end is what's bothering me. And I was talking to Kiefer and it's the same front end. So it's either mental or it's just the way I've gotten used to riding the 450. I don't know, but I haven't gotten comfortable on it yet. So look, Cochran just texted me back. He's feeling all right. Not too bad. Good. I asked him if he was actually hurt or if he's okay. So, anyway, so those are my lows. I will figure the 350 out, but right now I just am not comfortable on it. What are your highs and lows, TJ?
I think my high and low is kind of the same rider. It's going to be Coop being back and then him going down and getting hurt again. I haven't heard from him yet to see if he's hurt again. I watched him on with Weege interview, and he's it's kind of the same style injury. It may not be the same thing, but the same wreck, the same way he crashed and hurt himself before. So that's gonna be a bummer. It's kind of weird that we haven't heard anything. Hey, I'm fine. I'm riding.
Well, he was going to get checked today or Monday.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
it's
and
weird
they haven't really said anything. So,
yeah, that sucks. Yep. What?
Your high lows?
I was agreeing. I was getting at it, but I was trying to.
Does that not feel awkward?
I was trying to talk about. Anyways, most of the highs this weekend, I finally got my bike running right and figured it out.
Yeah. So
I'm looking forward to getting to some seat time. I also made some money at the casino this weekend and got a Blackstone and got made one of the best quesadillas I've ever had and watched the racing out in the back porch. That was cool. And then just had a good weekend and the lows. What?
Did you make enough money to pay my money back?
No. Not that much. And then the lows are going to be, the injuries.
Yeah.
Injuries and.
Yeah, Shimoda collarbone.
Yeah.
Haven't heard anything.
It is actually a broke collarbone for sure?
Yeah, I think he was in surgery.
That's kind of what I was thinking about. It turned into be kind of a rough year for Honda. No, both of their lights guys or 250 guys are out and Jet got hurt and Hunter's the only one left. That's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know if Hymas is out though. He hasn't. I haven't heard anything.
Not out.
Yeah,
but
hopefully
he had a bad
out of the championship.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's true. But all right, yeah. But your bike being fixed is good. That means you can go with us to the Pulp Ride Day at Lakewood.
Looking forward to that.
I am too, dude. Can you imagine how much shit we're gonna give him once he's stuck in a motorhome with us?
And Chase will be there.
And then once we get there and we let everybody else know, hey, this is the guy. This is our punching bag.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I'm not going to do that.
I feel sorry for you.
Why?
That's sad that you have
that
to
it's entertaining to fuck with your friends.
Well, I think what the way you were going with that was kind of crossing the line. I think, but it's sad that you have to go there.
Awful touchy. I was on your side. I was going to not mess with him, but here you go.
Here, wipe your tears.
Anyways, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
This is
I'm not gonna tell everybody to beat up on you, Scotty. I'm teasing.
It's turning into a Howard Stern,
Baba
skit.
Booey.
Yeah,
he's Baba Booey. He is our Baba Booey.
It's gonna.
Hey now.
That's what I was saying. It's funny. I was on the way over here. I was like, when I meet Kiefer, I can be like, I'm what dark side is to you, I'm to dark side. The punching bag.
I'm definitely not their punching bag.
Yes, you. Oh, no, you 100% are.
At least were.
No, yeah.
You don't Steve and Kiefer is your punching.
When you first started dealing with them,
have you ever cut my hair?
They were
you haven't.
making fun of you constantly.
Yeah, that's for a free bike.
You were a joke.
Yeah, well,
not a joke, but you were the butt of a joke.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely have been that. I won't argue that, but But Kiefer loves me.
Yeah.
Oh, so you don't love me? Dude, why do I even show up? I really don't know.
I mean, I wasn't going to go there, but probably not.
Yeah, that's messed up.
Okay.
Okay.
Lows. We're done.
Yeah, those are the highs and lows. Don't forget, if you want to get involved with the show and submit your highs and lows, you want to submit
Faith
your
said that she sent some stuff in. I don't know if it was highs and lows or not.
picks.
And
I'll have to look.
And did the high low on there too.
Where is it at? Oh,
Yeah, I didn't see it. I'll take a look in a minute,
Hold on.
Faith.
He's going to read it.
Okay. You got
yeah.
it? Go ahead.
Face highs and lows were high. My mom's AC is replaced, and I'm back at her house. Low, the AC works so good, I've considered wearing pants for the first time in summer in the house.
All right. MotoXpodShow@gmail.com is our email if you want to get involved with the segments, whether it be highs and lows or picks, top fives, et cetera, et cetera. Send those in. Don't forget, Vital MX has a fantasy game. You can go to vitalmx.com, sign up for free for the fantasy game, join the MotoXpod Show League. It is a lot of fun. You can do that every week. Other than that, I thought you were putting your hands up. I do have a highs and lows from Vince Pell with T-Bolt. And his highs are Hunter passing Chase in Moto 1 a few times and holding on for the win as a rookie to the class. He is the summer standout 450 rookie. Chase finally getting a hole shot in Moto 2 and going wire to wire. Chance.
That was a area qualifier plus 45 Thunder Valley gate hold there, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. It was a long day.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're going to talk about Chance absolutely killing the field in Moto 1, then tragically crashing his brains out. Unadilla claims another victim. That's a low, obviously. Yeah, that gate hold in Moto 2, like I was watching it, I was like, God dang, they're holding a long time. Then they dropped the gate, and it was, there was
it's bad when Phil gets a bad start.
Yeah, and there were some other guys that, like, when you watch the aerial view, that were way, way, way behind. So I'm kind of surprised that, like, I don't know if there was a discussion about that with the gate guy later, or that's just part of it. I guess it just usually doesn't drop that late, and you burn, like Phil talking about burning his clutch up. It was just surprising. What about, since we have Shane on in a little bit, Shane got fired from HEP. We'll talk to him about that a little bit. Colt Nichols was already hired coming in. So I was kind of keeping an eye on those guys. Did you kind of pay attention to where, I want to ask Shane this, if it mattered to him.
It did. He said it.
Oh.
On another interview.
Oh, he did another interview?
Yeah.
Way to pay attention to the industry.
But he said straight
I
up.
don't listen to Paul.
B minus.
He said straight up he just wanted to beat the yellow bikes.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I would too.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest.
But that still, let's get his take on it, maybe
For
more
sure.
in depth, because he just kind of said it in passing. But yeah.
Well, we'll get to that. We'll get to him in a little bit. That'd be interesting. I know him and Colt are buddies, but I would think if I was out there, I'd want to prove to my other team that, I'm beating the guy that you fired me, but this guy's getting worse results than I am.
Yeah.
Of course, Colt's just coming back, first time on the bike, but still, it would be something that would be in the back of my mind.
Who do you think, and obviously no one's listening right now as far as those riders, but who do you think has a higher ceiling of consistency, like a consistent ceiling?
I think the same guy to me, honestly.
I think Colt might be, at least it's a factory level bike.
Yeah,
I don't know how good the Mad Parts Kawasaki is. Nothing against that team. I'm sure it's good. Yeah. I just think overall, Colt was a champion. I think Colt. But Colt's also a Supercross champion. So, yeah, I'm gonna say Colt. But if it went the other way, I wouldn't be surprised.
I would be surprised if overall throughout the rest of next year that without her injuries that Colt is behind McElrath. You know what I mean? When it's all said and done, I would be surprised.
Right.
But McElrath's quite a bit older, isn't he?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so they're at different parts of their career, but.
All right. Before we get to Christian Craig, let's talk about our ride this weekend. So I went to Swan, and that was interesting. But you went to Madden.
Well, why was it interesting?
Okay, I guess we'll talk about Madden later.
It was interesting.
It was the District 41 race weekend. Yeah. So they had organized practice, but there was 7 or 8 classes, 20 minutes each.
It's kind of normal when they do organized
Usually
practice.
I think there's 4 or 5.
Right.
Yeah.
But
it was 2.5 hours between my first practice.
Did you get 3 in?
And my second. After my second, I was like, I'm gone. I'm not waiting another 2.5 hours.
Oh, it's 2.5 hours in between the practice. I didn't think about that. That would take a while.
It was forever. And I was out there trying to get that bike adjusted.
Yeah.
And like the second it didn't. I was kind of frustrated actually because I didn't get enough. What I needed was an open practice, not a schedule, like a organized practice. And I just didn't get much time in, and I was struggling on the bike. And like I mentioned, having to crash. So the people listening won't know, but 13 is that step up by the flag, right? So I went over that, and it was real ruddy when you land and into that next corner. So I stood up going into the corner.
The finish line corner?
Yes.
Nope.
Wait.
No, after the step up by the flagpole. At the top.
13 is a step down.
No. You're
okay. I'm wrong on the jump then.
You're talking about 8 to 9. 9 is a step up that you turn right on. Like 8.
The one by the flags,
yes.
right by the flag. That's
9.
9. Okay.
8 and 9.
Okay, so that jump then.
Yeah, number 9.
And you go into the right-hander.
Yes, that's 9.
So I'm having problems with this 350. It kind of feels like the front wheel's deflecting off ruts. So if I bump the left side of a rut, it shoots to the right. The handlebars turn.
What tires are you running?
The stock tire, which I think is that
32?
done. Yeah.
The 33? Okay.
I think I'm not positive which tire it is,
33.
but it it just kind of shot me to the right, and I went over that embankment. It's kind of a drop off there, and I like flew down, but it was so soft, it was fine, no big deal, but it was pretty scary.
Yeah, because it kind of drops off in that corner.
Yeah, and I went down that. Ooh. It just threw me over the
end
embankment.
over end. Did you flip or roll going down?
I landed on my right shoulder. It just threw me over the bars, and then the bike stayed at the top.
I would say bike at the top of the hill.
bike was at the top, and it threw me over, and I just kind of went down halfway.
That's a tough spot to go down.
But it was so soft, thank God, that I just...
because usually that spot's really hard.
They had put a lot of water down.
Yeah, it's an AMA really race. They're going to probably try to make it really ruddy.
You didn't race, though, did you?
No, I chose not to. I had too much stuff to do Sunday, but... so it was just interesting because I didn't get to ride much, and it was really, really wet. And then they continued to put water down, so it was just sloppy, and I was uncomfortable. It wasn't really a fun day, and it wasn't very productive either. I changed a lot on the suspension, and
we need some rain at Steve's, a place that you got a lot of hours.
I got to ride there tomorrow, at least for a little bit, because I need photos of that bike. So Chase is going to come shoot some photos at lunchtime. So I'm going to ride there tomorrow, but I'm sure it's going to be dry as hell.
Oh, it's going to be terrible.
I've tried texting Steve and calling like 3 or 4 times a day and haven't got an answer. So,
well, tomorrow's wide open Wednesday. Maybe he'll do that.
Yeah, I hope so. I'm going to ask him at least to water one section, a whole bunch. Hey, looky there. He just texted me.
What are you going to do graphics-wise on that bike? Just another Vital?
Yeah, it has to be Vital. So,
well, I know, but like what
very
color?
similar to what I've had before, but
purple?
In black and orange and gray.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I already got them. Decal Works.
Oh, nice.
Sent them already.
Cool.
I got a nice package from Works Connection with whole shot device and what else?
A purple shirt.
I did get a purple shirt. Yep.
You like that shirt?
I did like that shirt. Like I gave him a compliment, and he just shit all over me for giving him a compliment.
You said, I like that shirt, and I was like,
it's just a shirt.
Well, I have like a whole bunch of Works Connection
shirts. Just a Works Connection shirt.
Anyway, Shane, you guys talk for a second. Shane's texting me about the interview. So talk about Madden.
So, no, I didn't go to Madden this weekend. Was going to, but we wound up going to Alabama to visit the grandkids and then went digging up bones. But you said, digging up dinosaur bones in Ladonia, which was freaking awesome, but that's not about moto stuff. Sport and Wood was asking about your bike. So people are asking, Scotty, you want to...
Yeah, it was fuel issues.
Just fuel issues? Like nobody gave you any tips or pointers at the beginning?
I did both of the things that you told me to do. I just waited. I did one that was free before I did the one that cost money.
The one I said it was be at the first time.
But I did the one that was free first, and then and it didn't solve it, so I went to the one that cost money and got it fixed. So... it was the fuel filter, and it needed to be changed. Did a dusty cross country race.
It's kind of dumb, that fuel filter being the way that they
it's kind of hard to get to.
And kind of in the tank.
It's weird.
It's like a snake you got to pull out of there. It's really dumb.
It was definitely interesting, but we got it in there, and it's felt like a new bike. It was great. I'm looking forward to getting a ride.
You guys gonna ride anywhere this weekend?
I was thinking about I'll find somewhere.
I need to find somewhere that's like open practice. Like I guess Athens is the second.
Well, it's going to be the same thing. It's organized
so I'm not
practice.
Going there, so I gotta find
also I know you did Loretta, so you have an AMA membership right now. But I'm not. I'd have to get an AMA membership, so I'm not going to go spend $80 to ride
two practices
at a blown out Athens track.
Right. I got to find somewhere that's open that we can just go and like ride. I wish Johnson
Boneyard. Not gonna get any rain.
Bone Dry MX.
Yeah, that's the problem. It's just so dry.
I wonder if Eustis is having some. We're talking a lot of local stuff for these guys.
Yeah, these guys are going to be annoyed. So we We got to figure something out though. Let me get Shane on.
It's about that time.
Yeah, give me a second. So find something to talk about, boys.
So, anyways, this week.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's fine.
Got me.
Yeah,
his question got me messed up.
Yeah, we got it.
Quick button over us. We can actually get this.
This is why we need a phone screener.
Well, isn't that his?
I've asked for that. We said we had a conversation of what's some changes we could make to the show, and I'm like, I'd really like to take phone calls. Oh, I can't do it. Can't be done.
Yeah, because then we have to pay for a service like that. It's expensive.
They can't even pay you.
That's the system to take calls like Steve has.
I never said that. I understand that it's probably expensive, but we had a conversation.
And you'd also have to have another guy that just sits here and takes calls.
I just mute myself. I give myself a mute button. Anyways, you were about to ask me something.
He would be on the show less.
Well, let's do it.
Anyways, what were you saying?
I don't even remember now.
Oh.
So the Pulpamex Ride Day coming up.
Mm-hmm.
You're going. We're making a big trip to go.
Yep.
So we need to set up, just because it'd be hilarious, like a big MotoXpod show banner. Like bring the banner.
And we should
in our pits. And then that'd be really cool to do.
We could do that.
I'll ride it with it like a cape.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll bring one. All right, our first guest of the night appears to be on the line. He's going to be brought to you tonight by Guts Racing. Andy Gregg and the Guts Racing crew continue to provide the best seats and foam available. If you want the same seats used by Rockstar, Husqvarna, Hep Suzuki, and many more, then you need Guts Racing. They have numerous color possibilities, staple or Velcro installation options, wing seats, and the best foam in the business with the Phantom Ultralight seat foam. Don't forget, they have complete seats for the Talari and the Super 73 and covers for the Sur-Ron and Segway. They strive to ship orders within 36 business hours, so visit gutsracing.com and let them know the MotoXpod show sent you. Hey, Shane.
How's it going?
Hey, man. I wasn't supposed to call you yet. I got 45 minutes before I was supposed to call you. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no, that's oh, so you're not ready yet.
No, I need to call you. I need to call Christian Craig right now, not you. I just screwed that whole thing up. That's great. We're live. This is awesome. Yeah, I'll call you in like 45 minutes.
Sorry, Shane.
Yep, no problem.
Sorry, man.
All right, see it.
Sorry.
No problem.
I changed to the banner to the guest one, and it said Christian Craig, and I was like, I was waiting it out, trying to figure out what's going on.
This is an off night. This is awesome.
Off for you.
Yeah, it's awesome.
We've been on point.
We've been doing good.
Yeah, you guys are crushing it.
Classic B- journalist. You're turning into C+ real quick.
I can't argue that. I can't argue, man. I cannot argue. Jeez. Okay, let's get Christian on the phone, and then we'll try this whole thing again. All right, first guest is on the night. He's going to be brought to you by Guts Racing tonight. Tonight, Guts Racing brings us from the Rockstar Husqvarna team, Christian Craig. What's up, Christian?
Not much. How are you guys doing?
Well, I've been better, man.
He just confused you with Shane, Christian. You got to get on him. I've been
screwing the show up all night long. I called Shane McElrath instead of you because he's supposed to be on in 45 minutes. I'm a mess tonight, man. But, hey, we haven't had you on in a long time, man. It has been a while, so I'm glad. Thank you for saying yes.
Of course, man. Of course. I got you.
So I want to talk to you about a few things, but are you happy with where you're at right now? Because I feel like your riding has been fantastic. I mean, top 10s, in my opinion, in that class is incredible finishes. But then I know guys like yourself are probably, you always want more.
I'm happy to be racing. I'd say that. Like just to be able to line up every weekend, I'm happy to be doing that. But I do feel like my ceiling and potential is for sure to be better. But for where I'm at and for where, if anybody were to look at my arm and how much strength I have in it right now, they would be like, wow, you just got, you got 8th place or whatever it was last weekend. That's pretty crazy. So it is, I got to kind of just take it day by day and appreciate just being at the races, first of all, so it's been fun though, just building each week and getting some races under my belt and also improving and getting more arm strength back. So it's slowly building.
Yeah. Again, when I look at your results, especially the last 3 rounds, 7, 9, 8, and then there's 3 top 10s or 3 tenths in there, all those results, even when your arm was probably a lot worse than it is now, to get to 18th at high point with the issues you're having, that's a pretty good result. I mean, 18th, not great, but the fact that you're out there racing at that level with the issue you've been having, you definitely have to be able to look at the positives and say, hey man, I'm still being pretty successful.
Yeah. And, go back to the first 3 or 4 rounds, I was barely even hanging on to the bars. Like I would have moments in the motos where my hand would slip off the bar, and just little things like that. And man, I was being like so much pain at the end of the race, but now I'm able to get to the weekend and be like, okay, like, and seeing the progress, and like now my hand's finally not slipping off the bar. I'm able to like actually focus on my riding instead of just worrying about my arm and my elbow. Little things like that. I kind of gotta take wins, and just move on. So it's been good, but obviously I feel like I could be a lot better.
How beneficial was that 3 full weeks away from racing? Were you, I don't know how much you trained during that time, if you kept at it, or if you were able to if that helped a lot just to heal up?
I mean, for me, it helped just to like do more therapy on my arm and work on strengthening, like getting it stronger. But man, there was for sure no breaks, especially when I'm with Alden. We're right back to it. And we didn't really do much. I didn't feel like traveling. I do enough traveling on the weekends, so we just chill with the family and recouped. But it is good to be back to the races and finish out this season.
Yeah, absolutely.
So since he started off negative, I want to continue it a little bit.
How was that negative?
Yeah.
We will.
No, we're just giving you a hard time. But so you coming through the 250 ranks were always a guy who was in contention for a title. You come into the 450s, you have really tremendous speed, but because of injuries, not because of riding, you've kind of fallen into that, top 10 rider kind of a deal. And the 450 class is stacked, and there's a lot of pressure at the top. A lot of a light, I guess you'd say, on like the spotlight on Jet and Chase and those guys up front. How is it being almost like, and I don't mean this in a negative way, but almost lost in the pack, if that makes sense?
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could take it either way. You can be negative about it and or positive about it. But I mean, if you look back at my 250 days, I mean, my first however many years, I was never a title contender. I mean, it took me so long just to get my first win. So,
yeah.
And then I was 29 years old when I became like a title contender and someone that held the red plate for the first time, so like it took me so many years of just trying to get to that, that peak. And, that was huge for me to like be able to accomplish that. But man, the 450 class is a whole nother ball game, So, I mean, I would love to be in Jet or Chase's shoes and winning these races and championships. But hey, I mean, it is what it is. I've got dealt these cards. I've got screwed with this elbow injury and had way too many surgeries on it. But I'm far from done, so I do feel like I have a lot more to give.
Okay, yeah, that's a key thing I want to touch on in a minute. But go ahead, Scotty.
Well, Christian, I'm not going to be like these a-holes and be negative to start off the interview.
I said he's doing great. Top 10 is amazing. How is that negative, asshole?
Anyway, so the way I've watched your season is it's kind of just been a steady incline of just getting better and better progression. I liked hearing you say that it's about just being like at the races and taking that for what it is. How has the mental fortitude been, when in the dark days of those motos, the end of Moto 2, where it's, it's everything you got, and taking the little gains that you have gotten throughout the season? Yeah,
I mean, I've said this before, but I didn't even make the call to race the outdoors until the press day before Thursday of Paula. So, like, to be in now, nine rounds, and be lining up at every race, I mean, that's a win for me. And, man, just like, I try to take the positives from each weekend. Like, I've had some bad motos, but I've also had some good speed. So, like, this last weekend at Unadilla, I felt like my riding was good, and so I got a good start, but then I had some mistakes. So I got to kind of try to take some positive, but also learn from the negatives that did happen. But that's racing. It's just part of it, just try to be better for Budds Creek.
So you mentioned a minute ago that you're not done. You still want more, and I love to hear that because, I mean, the sport's brutal, right? And we don't know what you're doing yet next year. I don't know if you have any information for us yet. I will ask that question in a minute. But what do you think your ceiling is? Like, how much better will your arm get? Do you even know how much better it can get, and what do you think your ceiling can be in the next couple of seasons?
I mean, I don't try to put a number on it, but if I can get my arm back to 100%, which I'm probably at like 60 or 70%, which it's just going to take time.
Yeah.
It's going to be just getting the strength back in it and get some muscle firing back in it. So having like a solid off season where I can finally get that built back up is going to be huge. And then being on, a good bike and be ready to go. I mean, I've had this opportunity with Husky, and unfortunately I got hurt and have not been able to give them the results that, they were wanting out of me. So it's frustrating, but at the end of the day, just got to take for what it is and move on.
Do you have any idea, do you have a few options for next year? We've heard the rumor about Star offering you a test rider position. I wouldn't think that's what you would want. Do you have any idea what the goal is right now for next year?
I have an idea, and there's some options, which is it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And grateful for that. But nothing as of right now. So, but I am I'm super focused on just finishing out these last 5 races.
Yeah.
Strong. I really want to put in good results for the team. Husky, I mean, has been nothing but awesome and has been beside me this whole time. And, man, the least I can do is just try to give them some good results,
Yeah, I like the attitude, man, because I was wondering if you were honestly still enjoying it. I made a few Supercross races and a couple nationals, and I didn't see much of you. And usually when I don't see you, that's because you're not in the best of places, right? You don't want to be seen. So I was wondering if you were still actually enjoying the grind, the training, the travel, the racing. If you still had the passion for it. Yeah,
and I can see you thinking that way or seeing that. Man, there were some races where I was in some dark places and very hard on myself, and man, it was just tough. I was kind of lost and didn't know which way to go, or kind of lost belief in myself, which was tough. And I'm slowly trying to get that back, or I am getting it back. I'm lining up now with a purpose, and I do believe in myself. I believe I have a lot left in the tank. And so little things like that, and the fire is still lit under me, and I'm going to keep going until that, that fire does kind of go away.
Good.
Obviously, you, with the talent you have, you probably have a lot of doors open that people don't know about, but would you ever consider doing either the MXGP stuff or the World Supercross stuff like that? Or you kind of want to focus here on the States right now?
I mean, I would love to do that, but I feel like I have 3 kids and a family, and to move across, to go race GPs would be tough. So, I feel like maybe 5-6 years ago, that would be possible, but right now it's racing Supercross. It's, I mean, for sure I've done overseas races where, the little one-off, Paris races or
right.
things like that. I've done those, and I'm willing to do those for sure. But I really want to try to do good in Supercross and outdoor still.
Well, anybody who doesn't go to do Paris and those little races like that is kind of crazy, because you get paid to travel and ride your dirt bike and go to I don't understand any rider that would turn that down, but that's just me.
Yeah,
but
it's wild.
You also don't travel every single weekend, and those guys. Especially the guys that are making the millions, they're like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm with you.
The overseas races are more of bring your wife and get to go sightseeing and enjoy those little things, and also do some dirt bikes, on the side.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like a vacation with a race in the middle of it. Yeah.
Racecation.
Exactly.
So he brought up something just now that I was thinking as I was driving over here about. With your career, you've had a really, really good career that any amateur coming in would love to have. With somebody in your level, when you get done racing, if next year you decided you didn't want to race anymore, does somebody like your level be able to never have to work again the rest of your life?
No.
Just curious.
Unfortunately,
I was thinking about that today.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I mean, there's very few of us that can just be like done racing and live comfortably.
Because I got a kid who's racing Supercross and he has to work during the week.
Way to interrupt.
He was. Jesus.
Sorry.
Hey, I mean, I do make a good living, and for sure it's provided for my whole family for a long time now. And, but you know, money it will dry up, but so I will have to do something, and hopefully when I'm done, I can stay around the industry and do something around here. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm not part of that 1%
right.
They can just retire.
Christian Craig tonight, brought to you by Guts Racing.
Hey, Christian, going back a little bit to the racing, at what point this year was there a moto or a qualifying or anything that it may not even be the best result, but when have you felt the best on the bike so far this outdoor season?
Gosh, to be honest, this Unadilla.
Yeah.
I made some big changes during the break and kind of just threw a lot of stuff at the bike and was like, hey, let's try kind of a new setup. I know what my bike's like. Let's try something new. And man, I got comfortable right away with it, and went into Unadilla, and I didn't touch my bike all day. So I was super comfortable. Just little things like that made me feel, just like everything kind of clicked.
Mm-hmm.
My result wasn't the best of the year, but I feel like my riding was close to, the best of the season so far. So yeah, I mean, it is trending upwards, and hopefully I can just be a little bit better this weekend.
What kind of changes did you make? Do you mind? Was it, suspension? Was it chassis? Was it, it could be a lot of different things, obviously, right?
Yeah. So
Mapping.
it was clamps, forks, shock, linkage.
Wow. That's a lot.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm on, what everybody pretty much else is on our team. So, it wasn't like my setup was bad before. I was pretty comfortable on it, but then I got to a point where it's like, hey, can I try this? Can I try this? And eventually I kind of got up onto the setup, and man, I'm super happy with it right now.
Yeah. Let me ask you, and I don't know how this won't translate a ton, but what were you feeling from the bike when you first got the new Husky? Like, what were your weak points? And I'm asking this because I just got the 25 KTM 350. And I am so uncomfortable on this bike, and I need to know what to do next. I don't know what to do with this thing yet. Kiefer's been trying to help me, and I don't know. Like, the front end is not stable for me.
Yeah, but I think, I mean, it's tougher for you because you ride different bikes. Where I can get on the same bike and tweak it to how I like it, and then I stay on that. Where you're switching brands, and so. For you, it's going to be tougher. Don't you ride a Yamaha sometimes or a KTM? Or I've seen you on, different brands multiple times.
Yeah, I had a Yamaha for the last 8 months, and then now I'm on the KTM for a little bit.
The poor guy gets new bikes handed to him. It's just terrible.
Yeah, I mean, I feel bad for you.
I'm not complaining. I just want the front wheel to stop knifing on me when I it go into a turn or I hit a rut, and it deflects. I was telling the guys earlier, it threw me over the bars this last weekend because it deflected off a rut, and I went for a ride. But I'll figure it out. I just looking for all the advice I can get.
And sometimes you just gotta look in the mirror. Like, I mean, I've had to do it too. It's like, hey, it's not the bike. It's me. Like maybe I need to fix my technique. Maybe I need to, get over the front a little bit more, or to shift my weight back.
Sure.
So it's little things like that. But you can also get carried away with bike setup. Like I've gone both ways where it's like, man, I'm just not comfortable, and then I'll switch my mindset, and the same bike is like I'm comfortable on it again.
Right.
So yeah, us riders, especially at the top level, we're really finicky with it.
In the end, it probably is something with me, because Kiefer said it's the exact same front end as the 23 Husky 350 that I had, and that was my favorite bike I've ever rode. So when I told him about the front end, he's like, it's the same bike, man. You're not like, it's the same. So it probably is something with me. And I just...
Maybe your front tire pressure is a little high.
I don't know, I'm running like 13.3, 13.4.
That's kind of high.
Kiefer said 13 to 13.5 with those
but he rides
Dunlops.
in the dirt.
Do you know what you run, Christian?
Desert.
It's I think 13.5 we run in the front.
Oh.
Yeah.
I run
And
like
then
12
in
and
the
a
back.
half.
I used to run 12 too, and then Kiefer and Mathis were like, nah, would that tire go up to 13 and a half? So that's what I've been doing. But anyway, all right.
Yeah, I mean, just mess around with it. Play, you'll get comfortable. It's more seat time for you.
That's really what. Yeah, I'm riding tomorrow, so I'm trying to figure that thing out. But let's get back to you. I got a question. I don't know what you. I'm kind of interested in what you have to say about this. You were wanting to get on a 450 for a long time. Now that you've been on a 450 for a couple of years, if you could go back to 22 and have the choice to stay on a 250 for as long as you wanted, do you think you would still go 450?
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I was 30 years old and when I won my title, so it was time to go. If I wanted to have any chance in the 450, it was time to move up. So I don't regret my decision at all. Like, I could have defended my title and done one more year, but man, it was more than time for me to move up.
So you're not. I know some guys say that they would do a full career on 250. That's not you. You wanted to be on 450. I got you.
No, I mean, if I could have been on a 450 a long time ago, I would have. I mean, as you can see, like if you look back at my career, I've raced outdoors on a 450 way more than the 250. So
yeah,
I feel like I have more races under my belt on the 450 already. So.
Yeah, I know a lot of the guys that I've talked to don't like the 450 and Supercross. So, but as smooth as you are, it probably is not as scary, I guess.
I mean, it is a beast to handle in Supercross. Yeah, I would say for sure. Like to throw around a 250, I'd say like it's a lot easier for sure. 450, you have too much power. You have to for sure slow it down or tune it down. And then also get stronger and, be able to carry that weight.
Scotty?
Hey, Christian, with the SMX coming up and you're building good momentum at the right time for that. How are we looking forward to that? And, this is the second year they've done it. I'll be honest with you, I can't remember exactly where you finished up last year in it. But
I did not race it last year.
Okay, I was thinking that, but I didn't want to say that and be wrong in front of how dark it is. But anyway, so what are your expectations for that? It's got to be something cool. It's something you probably never you've never gotten to do that before. So expectations for SMX.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to keep going where I'm at right now. I'm I think 9th in points and battling for inside the top 10. So that's my plan, is to keep fighting for that position, and my best is a 7th, so I really want to beat that and try to be closer to the top 5. We actually rode SMX layout today, so the prep for that has started. So I'm pretty excited. It's cool.
Awesome.
What is that like? So it's just like basically you do like half a lap on the Supercross track and then loop it into the moto track. What do y'all do for that?
Exactly. Yeah. So the Supercross track that was used all year for us, it's right next to our outdoor track. So we do pretty much a full lap except for one lane on our Supercross track, and then and then they connect it to a part of our outdoor track. So the lap time today was like 1:30. And we did some 2 long motos, and my heart rate and my lungs were not ready for that, but it was day one for SMX training, I guess.
So where do you find yourself going? Like, are you want to take your suspension closer to moto after spending the whole summer on moto stuff, or are you trying to be closer to a Supercross setup as you go into the first round?
No, so we all 4 of us today were on full Supercross stuff, and that was a big change for me and everybody, because we've been on some nice stuff this past few months, and but I guess I didn't race it last year, but I was hearing that people were in between outdoor and Supercross stuff for all 3 rounds, and everyone kind of ended up on Supercross stuff, just a little softer. And so that's kind of what we're starting on.
Yeah, looking at the maps, I was literally looking at them a few hours ago. It does look like all 3 are more Supercrossy even than last year. With like looking at the maps, the motocross sections look like they're basically just. There's no jumps. It almost looks like there's straightaways and corners and some open stuff, maybe some sand, but the jumps look like all Supercrossy. So I would think, lean more towards Supercross is what I would think too.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess we just kind of, you go week by week, but like AP was telling us today, he went full outdoor setup for Chicago and he loved it. And then he went to the last round with the same setup and he said it was terrible. So then he had to go back to Supercross stuff.
Yeah.
So it's literally just finding what works for that day.
Anything in Vegas is going to be Supercross suspension because it's going to be flat and hard anyways.
Yeah.
At least it's not Soundboy.
Exactly.
It's right there next to Sandboy, though, right?
I don't think so. I think
no, other way.
Yeah.
Other way.
Yeah,
is it on the other side? Oh, okay.
It's at the drag strip, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought that drag strip was out there by Sandboy.
I don't think so.
Okay.
All right, just a couple more questions for you. Our guy from Vital MX, Lewis Phillips, wants to know, first of all, do you know who he is?
Of course. I know Lewis. I think I've talked to him on the phone.
Okay, I've told him everybody knows who he is, but he thinks nobody knows who he is. He wants to make a point that he has been looking for you all year to do an interview with you, and he can never find you after the race. So he would like to let you know that he direly wants to interview you at this next round.
Well, you heard him. He said he knows who Lewis is, so that means he's purposely hiding from him. Yeah, exactly.
That would crush Lewis.
I've seen him on some Fridays, I think it is, walking around, or Saturday mornings, and he hasn't mentioned that, but he knows where my bike is at, and I'm in that semi all day. So,
well, if you don't know Lewis, you don't realize, like, he won't just come up and talk to somebody. Like, he will if it's for an interview at the appropriate time, but randomly, if he just sees you walking around, he's not going to come up and say something to you, and he's definitely not just going to walk in the truck. And I asked him, do you ever see Paige standing around? Because that's how I always got to Christian. And he said, no, I don't see her either. So I will tell him to come find you, but just know that he does want to do an interview with you at one of these next two rounds. So
that's fine, man. I mean, at the end of these races, I'm usually chilling by the semi for a little bit, hanging out, and unless I got to catch a flight. That's the only thing. Sometimes we all book it to catch a Saturday night flight, which is amazing. Sure. But most of the times I'm chilling with the mechanics and hanging out, and so I'll be there. I'll be there.
All right. I'll let him know.
I say continue to hide from him because it's funny.
But if I am not there, I'm for sure on the way to the airport, and it's not his fault.
Okay. We'll pass along. He usually is listening, but he was actually had to go run an errand because I was going to get him on the call with you, but he just messaged and said he couldn't do it. The other thing I just want to ask you about is, I saw on Paige's Instagram that Jagger rode again recently, and she joked that he came out of retirement for like the 19th time. Do you think Jagger will ever really want to take it serious?
As of now, no, which it's fine. But, man, I think I was around 10 or 11 years old when I actually wanted to ride a dirt bike and wanted to start racing. So I was a little bit late bloomer, but yeah, as of now, he's 9 and he's, more of like a once a month kind of kid where he wants to ride. So, we're into baseball right now. So I'm fine with that.
And he's into it, like really into it?
Yeah. We had baseball tryouts today, and we'll see where he ends up. But yeah, he's into baseball, and I mean, I feel like it switches sports every month for him, and
baseball,
and that's fine. Let him find what he likes the most.
Yeah. Maybe he'll get into baseball and Chris Betts can help him out.
He wants to be a catcher, actually.
Oh, there you go.
There you go, yeah.
And I think that's what Betts was, right?
Yeah, he was. Absolutely.
Okay. I'll have to reach out.
Yeah. I got one more question from one of our listeners. Shane Bagley wants to know about the podcast. If you were going to bring it back, if you're just done with it, Candid.
Yeah, that was like a 3 episode, and then I ended up shutting that down.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a lot of work, but man, it was fun while it was, and there was just some reasoning behind it, but It is what it is. Unfortunately, it's just I gotta keep my focus on racing, and it was fun though. Like, it was something I tried when I was hurt. I had nothing else to do. I was like, let's see what this is like, and Oh well, it is what it is. I tried it, and not coming back.
Okay. Well, clear. Good enough. Guys, anything else before we let him there's a listener question on YouTube, but
no, there's not.
We don't want to ask that because we don't know what it means.
Well, did you listen to Pulp last night, Christian?
No, but I mean, we could hear it.
They want to know if you know who Helen Keller is.
I mean, I've heard of the name. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Why?
Because
Steve confused Helen Keller with Anne Frank, apparently. So,
when
yeah.
was that on the show? Because I heard somebody say Helen Keller, but then it never went anywhere. I haven't listened to the whole show yet. All right. Anyway.
Yeah. Anyways, it was dumb.
All right. Inside joke for Pulp and Max.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess I don't know it either. But all right, Christian. Hey, man, this was fun having you on here. I'm glad that you came back on. Good luck these next couple rounds, and I hope it just continues to improve. And yeah, we'd love seeing you at the races and having you out and about. You're a crowd favorite, I feel like, and definitely a favorite of the shows. So yeah, thanks for being on here.
I appreciate it, guys. Have a good one.
All right, you too, Christian. See ya.
All right, see ya.
Christian Craig tonight, brought to you by Guts Racing. Yeah, that was good. Paige just texted me things. She's like, she's giving me a little more inside information than maybe Christian wanted to give.
Okay.
But I can't read any of it. So, well, I'm just laughing at her responses to Christian's answers.
That's great.
So good stuff from Paige. I'm glad that he wants to keep racing, though. I was kind of worried that he's getting to a point where we've heard that he kind of mentally puts too much pressure on himself sometimes and gets in a funk. So I was worried that he might be over it. I'm glad that he's not.
Yeah, I just. Where do you think he is? Like, do you see him getting like a HEP, like that kind of stuff, like ride going that direction? Like I was texting with Doc just now about there's two types of riders that end up on Suzuki's, guys that are trying to keep a career alive, or guys that are trying to get into the sport to get to grow a career. I know it sounds terrible, but there's those teams. I don't mean Suzuki in general, but there's the Mad Parts, those type teams.
Yeah, I literally have in my notes right here, Mad Parts, Rocky Mountain HEP. I was going to ask him if that would be something he'd be willing to do. Yeah. But I honestly think Club's one I've heard come up.
Yeah.
I honestly think those are going to be his only options.
So, yeah. I'm
It
surprised.
sucks because I think he has a lot more ability and talent and better results to come than what he's had because of the injury. I just don't think he's had the health-wise or had the opportunity to really show his best results on a 450 yet.
I would like to ask Lewis, because he would know more about this, but could somebody Christian Craig's fame level, I will use that as a term, could they make more money going to the GPs? I know it'd be harder on his family, but I don't
think there's much money in the GPs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't think there's hardly any money in the GPs unless you are a Hurlings or a Geyser.
Maybe that high up?
Yeah, I don't think any of the other guys were really making anything hardly.
Okay.
And then, the travel, you're going to spend that time over there. A guy like Zacho loved it, but we didn't have kids yet.
Yeah.
So, moving your whole family over there, and I don't know that would be ideal for him unless there was a lot of money, and there isn't.
Or he just hated his family.
I don't think he does. I think he likes his family.
I think he does.
Yeah, I think he likes his family. We good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Seriously, a little bubble.
Yeah. You got it. What do they call
He's
it?
choked up.
What do you got in your throat? Isn't there a term that there's something?
A bubble?
No, there's a term for something when you got something stuck in your. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. X-Brand Forum. This whole show. I hope our fans like this show.
I don't think they do.
Yeah, I think they hate it.
They all think they. Never mind.
No, please say it.
You needed to dip the dog.
No, that was the thing earlier.
They think you seem stressed and.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, trust me, that's not an issue. We're good.
Then why are you so stressed out?
I'm not stressed at all. I just was.
I'm stressed at all.
Did I see my voice break? Puberty, finally.
Okay.
Puberty. X-Brand Forum check-in. X-Brand is your choice for clear vision and a leader in motocross and off-road goggles. X-Brand is used by many of the top GNCC riders, including the 2023 XC1 champion Craig DeLong, National Hare and Hound champion Dalton Shurey, National Enduro champion Grant Baylor, as well as motocross, supercross, and arena cross riders like Kyle Chisholm, Freddie Norrin, Henry Miller, Michael Hicks, Richard Taylor, Jerry Robin, and many more. Visit EKSbrand.com or go to your local dealership. Don't forget that the goggle that Hunter Lawrence won a championship in is a Lucid goggle from X-Brand. Check them out, though, at your local dealership, distributed through WPS. Tonight, the X-Brand Forum check-in is titled Hymus Crash and Unhelpful Flagger, posted by somebody named Flatspin. Nobody's really going to mention the flagger that couldn't take a second to lift the scalding exhaust pipe from Hymus's neck. Half-ass one-arm lift while doing a half-ass flagging attempt. Come on, dude. Lift the damn bike off the seemingly unconscious kid's face and get to flagging. Then there was a couple of responses. Are the flaggers allowed to do that? There's a rule against outside interference.
I mean, but he was getting third-degree burns on his
first
neck.
off, no way he didn't know. He didn't know he was getting burned, but also...
how do you not look at that and be like, yeah, that exhaust is probably burning him?
But have you ever flagged a race before? Like in your situation,
you're looking at the bikes
you're trying to protect yourself, trying to protect the rider, and I mean...
So I went back and watched it just because I wanted to get a second opinion on this because I only watched it live.
Yep.
The flagger walks towards the back end of the bike, which is between the oncoming bikes, and he's flagging. He's looking at bikes coming. He looks over with one hand while he's flagging and lifts the bike up.
Yeah.
He doesn't lift it all the way off of him, but it's off of him.
Yeah.
Like enough where he's not getting burned anymore. He's not crushed. And then within seconds, a couple of guys come and help get the bike off. No, like he did a great job.
I think the flaggers get a bad rap a lot of times, but and deservedly so. But in that situation, they're on the backside of a jump.
Honestly, if I had been that flagger, I probably would have thrown my flag down, turned my back to what that would have been the wrong thing to do, and lifted the bike off the kid as quick as possible. But he did his job while actually helping. I thought he did a really good job. So I totally disagree with this. But what I actually kind of want to continue to get into is flaggers, right? We saw when Cooper Webb went down, he was like throwing his hands up, like, get over there and flag. And we see that. We've seen that a few times in crashes this year where riders are like, what are you doing? But I do think that they have set rules where these flaggers, they're not allowed to get on the track anymore. They sometimes standing out in the middle of the track would probably be almost safer for the riders down, but not for the flagger.
So even local races, I've helped run races before, and especially in the AMA like qualifiers, stuff like that. Technically, the flaggers are not supposed to leave the flagging stand, the flagging area. Like you are not allowed to get up from that spot. When you are in a flagging tower or like a stand that's built there, you aren't supposed to get that. Absolutely, no question. You do not get off the flagging tower. So,
yeah, I think I would struggle. Like when I see those instances, I always put myself in there. Like I wish I was out there because I'd stand in the middle of the track and throw the flag. But yeah, they're not supposed to. They're not allowed to. I felt like that guy in particular did a pretty good job.
Yeah, this we have a listener, Roku. Let's talk about the lights on the jump. They are testing out a new system where they have GPS on the bikes.
I heard
and
that.
If the bike stops on the track anywhere, lights around it go off. That's not a bad idea.
I mean, anything like that, like even if it doesn't work all that well, if they just add that to what we already have, anything is better than doing nothing else. Like, keep adding things, keep trying things. That's great.
Speaking of trying and adding things, go ahead.
I just didn't know if you had any.
Sorry, I got shit going on.
You got work stuff?
No, personal stuff.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
I'm here. I'm just making sure you didn't have anything.
No, it's okay. I'm just trying to take care of something.
Okay.
Yeah, so
do you need to step out?
No, it's okay.
Okay.
Real quick question. Talk about new things, and I don't know how far we have to get before we call up Shane. But
we got about 10 minutes. We still got to do Barnett clutches too. So
can I help you test the chest protector that blows up whenever?
Oh, if I ever get a chance to do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll maybe throw you off a roof.
No, I want you. Oh. No, I'll put you in it, and then I'll like run up and kick you in the chest. And see if
we'll have to talk about that. Yeah, I don't know that I want to test that.
I don't think I would. I don't know if I want to, but I would.
Yeah,
I'll take one for the team.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know when that's actually going to be available, or if we'll see that or whatever.
But it's cool. That innovation, the GPS with the lights is kind of caught me out. Like, I had not heard anything about it until they brought it up on the broadcast. I don't know if you heard them say it on the broadcast.
I heard him mention it, yeah.
And I was like, that's kind of genius. And supposedly it's like an F1 thing. Like, they come from F1. But
I mean, anything that brings more attention to a down rider, so that the riders that are racing, something catches their attention, that's positive. I'm all for it. I do wish the flaggers could make a little more motion, to get in the way almost.
The next step in flagger technology is going to be like flaggers that work for the series.
Yeah, and I'd be really surprised if that happens anytime near the future because that's expensive.
Yeah, I'm just saying that's the next thing,
Yeah, I can't disagree. So no thoughts? You good, Scotty?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Barnett clutches, clutch performance of the week with 75 years of experience behind them. Barnett Dirt Dare clutch kits feature friction materials exclusive to Barnett for maximum performance and durability. You can also get 10% off with the promo code VitalMX, that's all caps, at barnettclutches.com and feel the Barnett difference. I feel like I didn't use my clutch a whole lot in the 450, but I'm using it a lot in that 350, so I'm probably going to have to order one just to have one on hand.
KTM clutch will last forever.
Well, I still feel like I want to have a backup, just in case.
I have one for mine, but my bike's a 22.
Yeah.
I think it's 22, maybe 23, and it's still factory clutch
on
a built motor.
I just noticed how much I was using it, like even to get over that little step up in the rhythm section after big techs, and like everything is just.
You're gonna have to rev that bike more.
Yeah, I was learning that. I was learning that because I was trying to ride it like the 450, and I was clipping things. There's a couple times I had really close calls. I did the double at the end of that little section, after big techs, the big gap, and the two guys that were in front of me. I was kind of in the middle of them, but they were maybe a bike length and a half ahead, and they both at the last second decided not to do it, and I was already committed, and I jumped, and the guy on my left drifted to the center, and dude, I leaned the bike and tried to get. I ended up actually crossing over behind him, but it caught. But when I I clipped, and I was sideways, and the bike kicked, and thank God it didn't high side. It just luck. It was all luck.
So he didn't jump it and then came over on you.
Yeah, he was all the way to the left and drifted to the right because that jump kind of turns, right? Mm-hmm. I was in the center and going to turn to the left, and as I was going off the face, I realized he was jumping left, so I leaned it
right
to jump to the left to cross behind him because I couldn't go right because there was a guy there too.
Yeah.
So I went left behind him, and then the bike kind of kicked
down the backside of 8.
Yeah, it was scary. Pretty scary. I got real lucky on that one. But again, that was just also, I didn't get all the way over the 350 or all of the jump because I was still getting used to the lack of power on that bike compared to the 450. So yeah, Saturday was just really sketchy for me in general.
And it was muddy and slick.
It was muddy in places, so I didn't have a lot of traction. It wasn't a great day, but and Kiefer was like, dude, chill down. You're freaking out. And I was just texting him questions. I was like, no, dude, I'm fine. Yeah. I'm just realizing I'm not comfortable. I'm like, I'm fine. I'll be okay. I'll get it figured out. But anyway, let's do the Barnett clutch performance of the week. Do you have one that stands out? I have two.
I would say, honestly, it had to be Kenny.
Okay.
I really think coming back, I think he had a really good, and he was up front for a while. It wasn't surprising, but so I don't know if you can call that a clutch performance. You know what I mean?
I honestly thought he'd be a little better.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I think we talked about it in the group message that we're in.
Yeah.
And I thought everybody was really high on him.
But 4.7 for 7th is not bad by any means, especially coming back.
He went backwards at the last moto,
which he expected to, I think.
Yeah, and I expected that to happen.
Right.
So,
well, I put Jalek Swoll 6.4 for a third overall.
That's a good one.
First podium for Triumph. I'm a big Jalek proponent.
I'm actually surprised it took him this long to get a podium.
Yeah, well, and they would have had some had he at Supercross for sure had he not have a couple crashes. Mm-hmm. A couple. I think he had a bike failure.
He didn't get one in Soupy either.
No, I think that's Triumph's first podium. I believe. Okay. I'm almost positive. Yeah, so that was one, and I had also had Marchbanks moving to the new team. Very little time on the bike. 5.5 for 4th. He started 6th in the Moto 1, came to 5th. Started 11th in Moto 2, came to 5th. Pretty impressive ride. So those are my two Barnett clutch performances. I thought they were both really good rides.
Yes, those are really good ones.
Levi rode really well for the overall.
Right.
So
is that his first overall for the year?
Outdoors?
Like overall?
No, I believe he got one other. I can pull it up real quick. But,
he rode really, really well. And it wasn't like just a handed it to him. It wasn't like because of... it was just a really, really good clutch ride for him. So
yeah, he looked good. I think he's figuring some things out. Let's see here. He got overall at Spring Creek.
Okay.
So yeah, he got overall at Spring Creek. So 2 of them. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. He crushed it there too.
Were you expecting more out of him
for the season?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was one of my title favorites, and he's still there, but he wasn't as competitive with Hayden. Because his kind of knock is if he doesn't get a start, he struggles. And he really hasn't proven that wrong yet.
Right.
So yeah, I'm high on Levi Kitchen, and
Masterpool had a really good ride.
Yeah, didn't he crash?
I had a bad start or went down something, and he came way up from where he started on that. Yeah. So that was really good.
Yeah, Masterpool's been pretty good all year, and I think he's locked in for next season now, so that's great.
Yep.
I'd like to see good things for him and his family. All right, we got our next guest of the night on the line. He's going to be brought to you instead of Cuts Racing, like I originally said. He's going to be brought to you by FXR, which is designed by racers for racers. With industry-leading fit, finish, and performance, progression is the name of the game. With every new piece created at FXR, we push our brand to the next level to provide you with the best products possible. Used by the Muck-Off FXR Club MX Yamaha team, Mike Brown, Brock Tickle, Chris Kiefer, Benny Bloss, and many more. FXR has core motor roots, so visit fxrracing.com or go to your local dealership and check out the complete lineup of new 25 gear. Tonight, FXR brings us Shane McElrath. What's up, Shane?
How's it going?
It's going good, man.
Good to be here again.
Yeah, glad to have you on. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. New situation, new team this time on the phone. Heard you a little bit last night on Pulp Show, so some of this is going to be repetitive questions, and we'll get into some other things. But
that's fine.
Let's just get right into, for those that didn't listen to Pulp last night, you were at Hep Suzuki. They let you go. For those that don't maybe have misheard, it wasn't because they hired Colt Nichols in place of you. But, just why don't you tell your side of the story, and we'll just move on from that.
Yeah, I mean, it's I don't know that we would be in this situation if Colt wasn't there. But that's beside the fact. Like it's not Colt's fault.
Right.
And that's really the biggest thing. So yeah, it was pretty abrupt. The team, it kind of started really back early in outdoors. We went through a couple things, and that was when Colt actually first tried the bike. And I was like, I'm okay, this is weird, but I mean, we still have a job to do, and that's what my focus is. And yeah, I mean, we didn't have very consistent outdoor finishes. We had some decent finishes, but not very consistent, and that was kind of what we were struggling with. There was just a lot of struggle that we had during outdoors, and we were on kind of some new chassis changes for this year. So, and I didn't race outdoors last year with the team, so I didn't really have any base. But this year, the base from last year didn't transfer over anyway. So,
gotcha.
We're all trying to figure things out, and some guys were happy, some guys weren't very happy with it, and I mean, I struggled with the bike, but it's like that's kind of what we have, and it's like I still have a job to do regardless of whether we're doing good or not. So that's really, I guess, where maybe we stopped seeing eye to eye a little bit.
Gotcha.
Is I mean, they wanted me to sit out for the sake of sitting out and then come back and race SMX, and I'm like, I mean, no, like there's no reason to do that. It's like I want to race. I need to race. We still have a problem that we need to solve, and there's no reason to not race. So, they didn't like that, and then we just got our termination letter. So it was pretty quick and dry, and it's like, pretty silly from my perspective.
So I've got two questions based off the information you just gave me. One is, what, if you don't mind saying, what specifically, because you mentioned this on the show last night, on Pulp Show last night, that you weren't really comfortable in the Yamaha outdoors. So I want to know what it was that you weren't comfortable with.
You mean Suzuki?
What did I say? Yamaha?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm thinking about my bike. I'm still missing my Yamaha. I just returned. But you weren't. You weren't comfortable on the Suzuki. And what was it you weren't comfortable with? And did you talk to Chiz about that? Because he does a lot of the testing and maybe try to find more comfort. That's one question. And then my other question is totally separate, but like, how do you get terminated from a contract in this sport? Like, how does that actually work? What do they have to say to terminate the contract, if you want to tell us that?
Yeah. Well, your first question is, I mean, I think it's a tough question to answer.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, everybody likes different bikes. Every bike is different, and every bike has different characteristics. And everybody says that the Suzuki turns well. I personally think it turns too well, and by doing so, it doesn't have a lot of straight line stability. And so that's where, when like Supercross, it wasn't nowhere near as bad. And like the tight turns, and that's where it's kind of designed to do. The outdoor style, faster, more open corners. You got to follow the ruts, and you're not necessarily turning. That's where I really struggled with it. Is I think the bike turns too good to where it's like you even when you don't set it up to turn, or you completely set it up to go or have stability in a straight line, it's like the bike still turns really good.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where it's like I don't know that it was necessarily any one thing that it's like. Yeah, I mean, I struggled with the stability of it, really.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that's really I guess what it all comes down to. And I mean, it's there were some races where it was really good. Like High Point, I did well on it, and that I think that it's because the speeds were lower and the track was a lot more technical. There's a lot of turning on High Point. You're always on off camber. You're always kind of making a turn, and the ruts are really deep and technical. So it's like, it's not just all out speed. Like this past weekend at Unadilla, it's like, that's probably one of the fastest races I've done, because that track is just a lot more open.
Okay.
But yeah, so I mean, there are places where I think the Suzuki excels, and other places it doesn't. And yeah, it's kind of like, I think our results as a team reflected that a little bit, depending on the track conditions and the dirt conditions.
That makes sense.
But yeah, and so for kind of like your second question, it's I mean, it doesn't quite make sense to me. I guess it's kind of I'm still not really understanding, because it's like we go through all this time and effort and money to negotiate a contract, and it's like we put a contract in place to govern the relationship of both parties.
Yep.
And so then the contract governs throughout that, whatever the term of it is. And yeah, it just, so if it was done by way of the contract, we wouldn't really be in this situation. And so that's where I don't really understand it at this point, because it's like, I mean, this is what we agreed to, but then none of that really happened. So it's tough to understand. I mean, we're obviously mid-season also, so there's not a lot of like, I guess, effort put into it right now.
Gotcha.
Because it's like, hey, I mean, my job is to race motorcycles, and I got to figure out how to do that. And I just was hung out to dry a little bit. So I got to figure out how I can do that elsewhere, and,
yep.
And what makes sense. So that's kind of been our main focus since then.
It's strange because it's not a normal circumstance, and it happened to Garrett Marchbanks too, right in the middle of the season. So yeah, it's weird that it's happened to two of you guys, and he says the same thing. He's like, I wasn't expecting it. I don't know how they can do it. I just got to move on and figure it out from here. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
So
yeah, it's definitely a bummer.
So I had a question about that. When you, like, they said that you could race the SMX stuff with it on their bike. Is there added pressure to you now to perform better on the Cowie? Because and hear me out. if you don't, do you feel like it could look bad on you if your results are the same, where you've kind of been saying, I'm not jiving with the bike at the higher speed tracks, and then now you get if you by the end of it get on the Cowie and don't do better, do you feel like that's a dark cloud on you?
That's something I'm willing to accept. And that's where it's like, for me, I know my capabilities, and I know when I'm not going as fast as I should be going.
Right.
And it definitely, in my flesh, it's like, yeah, I want to go out and I want to beat those guys. But I also have to be wise with it too, because, I want to race dirt bikes at a really high level, and I want to honor the Lord with the talent that He's given me, and so that's kind of really, it's like my goal is to have integrity in any situation that I'm in, and it's like I definitely counted those costs when we made the decision to go race at Unadilla. It was like I only had 2 days on the bike, and the team left it totally up to me. And just my wife and I just thinking a lot about it, praying a lot about it. And it's like, I don't want to do it for the wrong reasons. It's definitely extra motivation for how things happened, but that's not my sole focus is to not go out and beat a Suzuki. It's like, I think that if I'm doing my job properly, I should be, I shouldn't really have to worry about that,
Mm-hmm.
but there's a lot of other guys that I also want to beat also. So, that's really kind of my mindset. And especially with the SMX, it's like, I mean, right now it's like, my contract was terminated, and so therefore I don't get paid anymore. And this team, it's like they provided the equipment and get me to the races, but it's like they're mid-season and their budget's already used up. So it's like I'm not getting paid right now, and so that's where it's like the SMX is the main goal, because obviously I can make some money there. And so right now it's like getting as much experience and time on the Kawasaki as I can. And I mean, that's where, going back to the beginning when I started talking about it, it's like I'm willing to be wrong, and it's like I don't think I'm right, but it's like I know that I can race, and when I have some good equipment, when I have the necessary things, it's like I'm ready to show up and I'm ready to race. And it's like, I know that I can be competitive. So, starting out this weekend at Unadilla with it just being my third day on the bike, it's like no expectations, just go out and learn and apply myself and pick up my intensity a little bit each time out. I did exactly that. And so I had a really good day on the bike today, and we're going to ride again tomorrow. And just, my confidence is growing hand over fist right now. And it's like, I'm laying a new foundation for where I've been, and that's what I'm excited about.
Well, I just wish that my skills were good enough that the bike was holding me back. But that's definitely not what keeps me slow.
I'm holding me back.
I think it's commendable that he said his goal is not to go out and beat the Suzuki or
I'd
beat
be
Colt.
T-boning every Suzuki.
Because it's funny, because
that's what I'd be doing.
That's for sure what I was paying attention to. Like every time the ticker would scroll by, I was like, "Where's Shane? Where's Colt?" Because I was focused on that, but the guy involved wasn't. That shows that he's a better person.
As fate would have it,
And you were racing Colt the whole time. It seemed like.
Yeah. No, we straight up passed each other a couple times.
That's awesome.
The beginning of both races.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, here we go. And it's like, obviously we're racing everybody hard, but it's like, it's like, get away, just go.
Well, y'all two are kind of in the same boat. Both new bikes, both new teams. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, y'all get along. I mean, there's nothing between y'all, so that actually is kind of a cool thing for the fans.
It's impossible not to get along with Shane.
That's true.
And we spoke about it like right when everything started happening, because Colt was kind of Colt didn't have any idea that anything was happening, and I'm just like, look, I'm not upset at you. I don't want you to like take your focus away from what you have to do for your job. Like, this is not your problem, even though you've kind of been put in the middle of it. And so just knowing that as a racer, it's like you have to be mentally present, and little distractions like that. It's like it's easy for something to happen and you get injured. And that's where it's like, dude, you got to just stay focused.
Yeah, Shane, I'm a little bit indifferent about this because it seems that, I know you have a good relationship with a lot of the media guys and everything, and and it's obviously that was a delicate situation. It was news. It happened midweek. It goes into the broadcast. I don't know if you watched the broadcast, but when they brought up what happened, I thought it came off. It wasn't wrong information or bad. I thought it came off maybe a tad bit blunt. I love Weege. I love the broadcast and everything. I was just wondering how you thought the press handled it and how that scenario kind of went as the week evolved.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm not too worried about what's said
Right.
because I think a lot of people understand what happened, and I don't want to talk down on anybody, and
Right.
I don't want to. I literally just want to go out and do my job and be able to race as hard as I can, and to get to work with the Mad Parts Kawasaki team this weekend. It was such a fun weekend. It was really smooth. Everything went super well. And it's I want to just let my riding talk.
Right.
I don't care about the gossip. And I think obviously the media has to do their job. And it's I'll give enough information to be, I guess, respectable, or I'm drawing a blank on the word, but to where it's hey, this is kind of what happened. I'm not bashing, but it's I mean, obviously there's two sides to every story, and in confidence, it's okay, I'm not going to say anything that's going to, I don't want to shoot myself in the foot, but I don't want to just point the finger, because it's I'm not going to talk down on somebody.
Yeah.
And I just hey, I'm going to go out and I'm going to race. And if it goes how I believe it should go, then I shouldn't need to say anything about it. And I mean, the media has to do their job, and they have to play devil's advocate a little bit and not side with one side particular.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I knew that. I know the guy you are. And I know that you were going to treat the situation with respect, and I was just making sure that you felt the same, it was reciprocated
from the media.
Yeah.
Make no mistake, I don't agree with it at all, and I think it was really unprofessional. But that's it.
Yeah, fair enough.
Shane McElrath is brought to you by FXR tonight. Shane, adjusting to a new bike, I'm starting to realize more, because I get the chance now with this job to go from bike to bike.
Mm-hmm.
It's more difficult than people maybe think it is. So to jump on a new bike and have to race in just a few weeks, probably not easy. So talk about making the adjustment and what your favorite characteristics are of the Kawasaki.
Yeah, so I got on the bike last Monday for the first time, and the team had kind of left it up to me on whether we race Unadilla, or really whether we race any outdoors, because like I said, SMX was the goal, and the team was we have everything ready to go. Really the only thing we have to lose, both of us, is our reputation.
Right,
and so don't feel like you have to go out there and race if you're not ready. And that was kind of what I meant by I don't want to go out just because I'm frustrated and I want to show these guys hey, I can race. It's I mean, before, when I was on my way, I drove up to Club MX to ride the bike, and I'm just it's 7.5 hours up, and it's got a lot of time to think and trying to just clear my mind. And right before I got on the bike, Derek Rankin was just all right, Shane, just please have a fully open mind, just go ride. And I'm okay, which that was kind of already my mindset. But going into the weekend, it's I'm not going to commit to racing before I ride the bike, because like, I don't even know, maybe we need to do some testing or whatever. And it was Freddie's whole setup, his suspension. I actually started on Monday on a whole new engine package that Freddie hadn't even ridden yet. But they had just pulled off the dyno from Saturday, drove the bike to club, and Freddie was supposed to get it. But then it was like, I ended up riding the bike. And so they just gave it to me. And so they were all kind of holding their breath and not sure how it was going to go. And I went out and rode the bike, and I'm just like, dude, this is, I literally can't believe how good this is. Like, we didn't change the suspension at all from Freddie's setup. I just adjusted the levers, and I was like, dude, this bike is so balanced. Like, and what I've kind of told people is like the chassis feels really soft, like compared to any other aluminum frame that I've ridden. It's like the suspension or the chassis feels soft, and my suspension's pretty stiff. Like, we're running some air forks and they're definitely stiff, but even the shock, it's like the suspension makes the chassis work, which in my opinion is the way that it should be. I mean, you can't really get consistent chassis flex unless the suspension is doing its job. And at our level, it's like, dude, you've got to have the capability to override the bike maybe multiple times a lap. And so that's where it's like your suspension has to be able to keep up. And in turn, your suspension is then going to put the load onto the chassis, which the chassis is going to flex and do things that it's designed to do. And so everything kind of works in tandem. And for me, it was like, it kind of felt like the first time riding a 450 that it's like everything seems to be working together on this bike. And it's been a long time since I rode a Kawasaki, and I don't know why. I never got an opportunity to ride one, but I've been super impressed with it. And so then to kind of go back to your question, is like going out at Unadilla after only 2 days on the bike, like Tuesday gave me a lot more confidence in my riding, because it was actually raining pretty much all day when we rode on Tuesday. And so it was on the same track, but it was almost a whole different style of riding. Where Monday was all about kind of like speed. And so I'm like, dude, I'm not super comfortable going this fast, but the bike is pretty stable and it's handling it. So it's like, I'm scaring myself a little bit. And then, so I kind of went like wide open straight away. Yeah. And then the second day was all about kind of filling in the gaps there and learning what the bike's doing there. And so after Tuesday, I'm like, honestly, time right now is really all we need. I don't know that I even want to change anything on the bike. Like, nothing's jumping out at me, and the weather didn't look good at Unadilla. So it's like, dude, we could go, and the weather plays into our favor even more, slows the track down, and there's really no reason we don't go race. And the race day went super smooth. It's like, the transition to this team and this bike, it was super, super easy. Like, I've never got on another bike and been able to go that fast straight away because it was just like set up. And that's what I'm really excited about.
That's great. I love it.
Hey, Shane, I know we talked about the SMX points a little bit. Yep. So I was looking up where you're at, and right now you're in the running for a nice payout. The 13th place is what you're in right now, and like, it's cool to see you give this effort, and the Mad Parts guys help you out to make this happen. And I think it's really cool that you're sticking it out, and I hope the best for you. And I know you got to be excited to see how this turns out.
Yeah, and I mean, there has been a rumor that we have signed with this team for next year, and I haven't committed to any team for next year. So, but the Mad Parts MX for Christ Kawasaki team, we were talking about next year, and then this came up, and we kind of set all that aside, and it's like, well, we can provide you a bike and transportation to the last 3 outdoors and the 3 SMX rounds. And It'll give you a chance to get to know the bike and to get to know the team and see if that's something that you like, see if that's something that you would want to do. And so, I mean, from my perspective, it was really respectable that they would be willing to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And getting to know Bubba, Paulie, the team owner, more, it's like he's building this team the way that he would want it, in that situation, in a situation where it's like if he could have his pick at everything.
Right.
And I mean, he's doing it really well, and that's where it's like just one of the things in his like contracts is like race team will provide a stress-free atmosphere. It's like he's awesome. Heavily involved, and I kind of brought it up to him. I'm like, well, I do agree with it, but I don't agree to an extent. Like I need you guys to hold me accountable and to kind of put the pressure on me a little bit, to an extent. But now after getting to know him more, the no pressure environment doesn't mean that they're just kind of handing the reins over and,
right.
You can do what you want. And so, that's totally not the case. So it's really been a great transition so far. And, we've only been here really a week, and I'm excited about it because it could have really big, long-term implications. But right now it's like leading up to the SMX playoffs and getting some time on this bike. Like my confidence is growing every time I ride it. And that's what I'm really excited about going into the SMX rounds.
Yeah. Well, and also he's been in probably a very similar scenario, so he gets it. And I think it's awesome that racers are helping racers out. That's so cool.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I agree.
Shane, I want to ask you, going back to Unadilla just for a minute, what did you think about that second moto start and how long they held the gate? Did it feel really long to you?
Yes and no. I mean, it wasn't long enough to be a gate for me to think there's a gate malfunction. It was just long enough to kind of throw everybody off the gate. And that's where I mean, I didn't even really think about it at the time until everybody kind of started talking about it. Like, dude, they held it forever. It was like, it was kind of, I didn't notice it that bad. But yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I said while it was going on, I was like, wow, they're holding it a long time. And it was getting close to a point where I thought there was a malfunction.
So what you're saying is Alessi would have hit the gate.
Yeah, Mike would have clipped it for sure.
Yeah, didn't Chase say something like that? Like he's like, I was about to just say ram the gate. Like,
oh, I didn't hear that.
He said something like that.
Shane, what do you feel your ceiling is in your career now? Like where you're at right now? What do you how much do you feel you can improve? Do you feel like top five's in the cards? Where do you see your ceiling being?
That's a really good question.
Thank you.
If you'd have asked me this about 3 weeks ago, I would probably have a much different answer.
Okay.
And not very optimistic about it.
Not as positive.
But but right now it's like it's just like, dude, I love riding. I love training. I love being in this industry and working with the teams and getting to know people. And so my riding, especially like the last probably really since I went to the 450 class, it's like consistently I haven't been I guess with the group of the guys that are always racing.
Right.
We've had team issues in the past. I've had injuries in the past. And so this year it was like, I think I was like one of 7 guys to race or line up for every main event in Supercross. And for me, like last year, I didn't qualify for A1 because I crashed in the LCQ, but it's like I raced every main event after that. And so finishing a season is a big deal. And this year is going to be my first year, Lord willing, that I race every race that I was scheduled to race. And so that's a big deal. I didn't quite realize how hard that would be. Just from an injury perspective, just like guys just might get banged up and miss one weekend and then they're back to it. But It's like the weekend, week out, like being there is definitely not easy. So, but for me, it's like racing at Unadilla and the way that I was able to race and the way that my body felt, it was like I actually raced for the first time in what felt like a long time. I was battling guys, I was passing guys, and I was moving forward. My starts weren't very good, and I moved forward both motos. And so it's right now it's like I'm really excited being on a modern bike with an electric start. It's a pretty big deal.
For sure.
It's got me looking forward in a good way now. So I don't know, to be honest, but I'm a lot more optimistic now.
Okay. Got two more for you before we let you go. I was looking back on your early career and looking at your Loretta's results, and a little article popped up when you were just a youngin', and you had an earring, and that kind of surprised me. Can we bring the earring back?
They probably will still fit. It's been a couple years ago.
Yeah.
My wife, she was kind of like, she was doing something like, oh, I wonder if the holes in your ears are still open. And like at the time we were able to still get an earring through there, but I took my earrings out probably 14 maybe.
All you need is the one for the whole Mr. Clean look.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm honestly, like, I didn't ride in them, or maybe I did ride in them.
I think you did.
Yeah,
this photo looked like you had just came off the bike in this photo I saw. It was an old Racer X article.
Probably so, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't remember, because I think at one point I started taking them out because of maybe my helmet or I don't know. But then I just got to the point where I was like, dude, I'm just tired of taking them in and out.
Sure.
We're putting them in and out, and just got rid of them. So
I think you need to bring them back.
It's a little bit more professional.
Bring them back for a round, man. You got Derek Rankin over there, which, Steve was talking about his medal and wrestling. We bring the earrings back, man. Let's do it.
Yeah.
And it I saw some of your Loretta's results, and it's kind of interesting. Like you didn't necessarily make a splash in the amateurs until the last couple of years in 12 and 13, where you were getting second overalls behind guys like Cooper Webb, and battling with guys that really aren't even around anymore, like Matt Bisceglia, and guys that you have had a better career than, such as Cade Clayson, John Short. So when you look back on your final couple of years of Loretta's, like how do you remember that experience? And I'm asking just because we just ended with Loretta's a couple of weeks ago, and like how do you look back on Loretta's? Is it fondly?
Yeah. I mean, I think for me to best explain it is, it was all God's timing, because I went to public school up until my senior year, and then I got homeschooled so that I could live and train at Club MX.
Yep.
And it was kind of just I was racing at the area qualifier earlier in the year in 2011, and Mark Osborne was like, "Hey, I want to sponsor you, and I'll pay for you to go down to Club MX for 2 weeks before Loretta's and train." And so we did that, and we really liked it down there. And Brandon, the owner, he really saw a lot in me, and he wanted me to stay, but we couldn't afford to stay. And I was supposed to go back to school, and so he talked us into homeschooling, and he's like, well, like if you do some work around the facility, that can pay for your training, and then you just pay for your electric and your RV and your food. And so that was kind of the deal that we worked out. And really from then on, it was like I lived there full time, and that was the first time I actually got to ride and train. and it wasn't just on the weekends, like in between school.
Gotcha.
So, and going into Loretta's in 2011 or 2012, my parents were pretty maxed out financially. I mean, we didn't have much as it was, but my brother was starting to take racing more serious, and kind of going into Loretta's, it was like, well, I mean, this is kind of this is pretty much it, because we can't afford to pay for both of you. And, and then I did well that week and met Tyler Keefe, and he wanted me to come ride the bike. And then I was on TLD, and I got my first paycheck of $1,000. That was my monthly salary check.
Awesome.
And my mom took me down to the bank, and we opened up a bank account, and she was like, "Well, you're on your own now. We can't pay for anything else." And that was it.
Adulthood.
Yep.
Well, Shane, thanks so much for coming on with us tonight, man. We love to see you keep progressing with Mad Parts and having a good time. I'll send you some band names that you can throw out to Jericho, so he can think you know what you're talking about, and you guys can talk about some bands. But other than that, man, really appreciate your time, and good luck with the rest of the season.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys. Thanks for the time and the opportunity.
Anytime. Take care, buddy.
All right. Y'all see it.
Shane McElrath tonight, brought to you by FXR. We're going to jump right into the T-Bolt USA Top 5. We got about 9 minutes before we get Ben Griffith on. If you are a pit bike enthusiast and love shredding around on a CRF 110, KLX 110, or whatever you have, you need tboltusa.com bookmarked on your web browser. T-Bolt USA is a pit bike supply site that has everything you need for your pit bike, from BBR handlebars to D&M shocks and even full bikes from YCF and Pitster Pro Bikes. T-Bolt USA has it all. They even have stuff for the Chinese bikes that are so difficult to find. You'll find pit bikes, engines, and parts at tboltusa.com. T-Bolt Top 5. Scotty reminded me once we got the show going tonight that we were supposed to do top 5 bullies based off a conversation we were having last week.
Yeah, but you being a typical bully, you forgot. So
I changed it.
He didn't care. He didn't forget.
He just didn't care. But we'll do top 5 bullies.
We don't have to. I
actually like that one, like from a movie or whatever.
Yeah,
or a book or whatever. We'll do that next week. Unfortunately, I just didn't write it down. But so we decided to do top 5 things that you love about yourself. And I just thought this would be perfect for TJ.
Yeah, let him start.
Should we not let him close it out?
Bust.
All right, TJ, go ahead. Top 5 things you love about yourself.
No, he doesn't. He wants to go last.
That's fine. I don't care.
Go ahead and go. Who's going?
You.
Oh, all right. Well, I couldn't think of 5.
Did you even think of 5 things?
I couldn't think of 5 things I love about myself. I don't think that highly of myself. Shit. No, I said I think I'm pretty friendly. I am compassionate, and I feel like I'm a good parent. Yeah, that's really all I got, man.
There's things you feel about yourself, not like about yourself.
Well, I like that I'm friendly. I like that I'm compassionate, and I like that I'm a good parent.
There you go.
How about that?
You like that you think you have a discerning palate of food and stuff.
I mean, I like
TJ likes that
you like that you can that you liked how important you make yourself feel for picking on people for their spelling.
I don't. No,
I like that he's condescending.
Picking on you.
He likes that he's condescending.
I like picking on you for your poor spelling, but I don't necessarily like that about myself.
Well, maybe you should quit.
I don't think I have whatever you said, like a food palate. Like I'm pretty narrow-minded when it comes to food. But the food I like good food, not cheap food. So I think you're.
I was trying to.
I like that you're wrong.
Oh, fair enough.
Do you want to go now, TJ? Your top 5?
Come on, Scotty.
Are you trying to figure out what you like about yourself?
No, I got a list.
You just want to go last.
I like that.
I like that I don't wear Crocs.
Oh, I love that I wear Crocs. I like that I'm pretty open-minded about most things. Like I typically can see both sides of the story.
Yeah.
I like that it's kind of the same thing, but I like that I always kind of try to look at the bigger picture and not try to get hung up on like little things.
Mm-hmm.
Try to look
at bolts.
Yeah. I look right past that. I like that that I can kind of blend in with like any group. Like I can be friends with moto guys or this and that or whatever. So I like that I'm able to have relationships and friendships with a variety of people.
Yeah.
How many is that? Is that 3 or 4? That's
I'm
3.
not counting, so.
I like that. Will try to do something like I won't try to screw somebody over just to, like if it's going to make me a buck, like I'm in sales and sometimes I lose sales because I'm not as cutthroat.
Yeah.
Because I'm not like just going to just crap on somebody to sell a, whatever, to sell something. And then I guess the last one I like that I'm able to do stuff like this, like that I'm able to articulate my thoughts and be able to be a part of a show. Even though I probably can't do that very well.
Yeah, I'm looking at you like.
I mean, we've had other people in here who can't do half of what he can do speaking on camera.
All right, good point. We'll give it to him.
Yeah, we'll have to give that to him.
It just sometimes takes him a long time to get there, but actually, he's gotten so much better with that.
Yeah. Mine would be I'm good at finding deals. I'm really good at finding deals.
Good at finding deals or good at being cheap?
I think they're like one and the same. My wife said I did church up some of the way I put this because I did read the list to her. So just giving you a heads up on that. I think that I'm pretty hilarious. Like I'm a pretty funny guy.
I mean, there are things you do that are very funny, but they're always unintentional.
Yeah.
Well, I'm naturally funny would be the way to word that, not unintentionally. I'm naturally funny.
When you send things that you think are funny in like a text or whatever, they're never funny.
I laugh about them. I'm good at solving problems.
I agree with that one.
That's actually something I'm good at.
Yeah.
I can usually get anything I put my mind to. Like anything that I've pretty much wanted throughout my life, I've been able to do. And my number one thing that I like about myself is I'm not a snitch.
Snitches get stitches.
I hate snitches. Oh, my God. I used to punish my kids when they tell on each other. Like the rule at our house was, if you tell on your brother, you get the same punishment that he gets for doing what he did.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but then what do they just Lord of the Flies? Figure it out,
bro.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if I catch
good
you.
reference.
Yeah.
Lord of the Flies. I bet.
There were some bullies in there.
Yeah. I guess so. Yeah. All right. Are we good?
Oh, yeah.
Did we have any?
I'm good. I mean, if you're asking, yes, I like it that I'm good.
I just didn't know if that was all because that list was way shorter than I expected.
Well, I mean, we only had 9 minutes because you do that to T-Bolt all the time. Just cram his stuff.
The one, it's interesting that you thought that you were funny. That was
I am hilarious.
All right, well, the next guest of the night's on, so we're going to jump in and talk to him. He's going to be brought to you tonight by ProX, which is rooted in racing from motocross to off-road and supporting teams such as Pro Yamaha, Pro Circuit Kawasaki, and SLR Honda. They have been supplying quality components for almost 50 years, from complex jobs like an engine rebuild to simple maintenance, including filters, chains, and sprockets. ProX aims to bridge the gap between OE quality and affordability. Find ProX at your local dealer or visit prox-usa.com and search for parts for your bike. Tonight, ProX brings us from the Honda HRC factory team, mechanic for Joe Shimoda, Mr. Ben Griffith. What's up, Ben?
Hey, guys. How you going?
Doing good, man. Glad to finally get a chance to talk to you. We've been trying to get this thing set up for a couple weeks, and it's good to finally have you on here.
Yeah, it is good. It's thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. So I want to start with, since we haven't had you on before, I want to get your story a little bit. You were born. Are you from the UK or Australia?
Yeah, I'm originally from the UK.
So, yeah. So tell us your trajectory, how you got here, where you started, and how you ended up at Honda HRC. I'm sure that's a pretty long story, but you said you had an interesting one, so I want to hear it.
Yeah, my story's a little bit different than most of how I got here, I guess. Originally from the UK, I grew up racing there and in Europe, and then I actually moved to Australia to race for a little while, and then I had a pretty bad accident, broke my back pretty bad down there, and stopped riding bikes. And then I was a qualified motorcycle mechanic as it was, so I actually got sponsored to go and work on a road racing team, which I'd done for 2 years, which was really cool. Like, very different for me, so I just grew up around dirt bikes my whole life. And then one lad actually messaged me one day and was like, "Hey, you want to come and help me doing the Australian Supercross? Want to come and help me out?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, no worries." So when I helped him, I actually ended up winning a under-19s Australian Supercross title with him, with a lad called Cale Macomb. And then I just went from there, really. Went to Yamaha, factory Yamaha down there, Circle Yamaha, and then was there for a while. Went to GYTR Yamaha, and then my break to come here was, I'm not sure if you guys know Carrie and Brian Shear from Grindstone Compound in California.
Yep. Yeah, we stayed with my son, stayed with them during West Coast Supercross when he was racing it.
Oh, okay, yeah. So, yeah, they, one of my good friends in England was like, I had just resigned from my job in Australia, and they was like, hey, why don't you hit these people up and go do West Coast Supercross? So I hit them up and got a gig working for their son, just a 5K gig. It was actually really cool. Yeah. Unbelievable family.
Yep.
They were so good to me. Still to this day, they're like, I joke around, but I call them my parents here in America, because if I have any dramas, I go to see that, and they're like the best. Brian, he's like one of my best friends here. And then while I was doing that, I met Jason Anderson, because Gage, their son, was good friends with him, and I would talk to Jason. Like, he would come in and chat to me while I was doing the bike when he come home, and then he come down and then I went back to Australia to work for Kawasaki, and then Jason's like, hey, I'm coming to Australia, and I'm thinking to myself, he wants to know the good places to go out and good hotels and good places to eat. And he comes down there and he's like, hey, you want to be my practice mechanic? And I'm like, geez, I wasn't expecting this, you know?
Yeah.
And next thing I know, he's like, hey, I'm going to get back to America. I'm going to speak to the team, and if you want to come and they clear it, like, you can come over. I'm like, all right. Anyway, I didn't hear nothing for, I don't know, maybe a month. And then he just rings me. He's like, all right, you want to come here? You got good to go, but you got to be here in 2 weeks.
Oh.
Yeah. And so I was like, all right. So I went and worked for Jason for 3 years. Probably some of the most fun I've ever had working on dirt bikes, honestly. Like, the group of people I was around, working at Husqvarna, then going to Kawasaki. It was hard work. Like, the guy made me work, but we had a lot of fun. And then how I got to Honda was I knew Hunter Lawrence from back in Australia, because he was our amateur rider on the Yamaha team. And when Jason was in Florida, we trained at the compound that they now own, but they didn't own it at the time. A guy called Mark Lane, an English guy, owned it. And I got to know the boys really well, got on really well with Darren. And me and Darren would do the track and everything together at the time. And then when I parted ways with Jason, I went and worked with MDK for 1 year, for one season, first year of World Supercross. And then that ended, and Darren rings me and it's like, hey, I want you to be the test guy at Honda. And I'm like, what are you on about, Darren? Like, probably going to go back to Australia. And he's like, nope, I'm going to speak to Lars. Next thing I know, I'm in Lars' office having an interview, and I'm the test mechanic for a year. So my trajectory to get to there is, I've been very fortunate to be around the right people at the right time, but yeah, I'm very, very grateful for the people I've been around to get to the position I am in now.
Yeah, so you skipped over something that kind of stood out to me. You were working for Jason as his practice mechanic during like the height of Team Fried.
Yep.
Oh, I was right in the midst of all of that.
Yeah, there's photos on his Instagram of
Tommy
with
Tinders.
Tommy and yeah.
How was that? Tell me how the day-to-day with running around, which had to be nuts.
Dude, it got hectic. I'll say that much. Yeah, it was good. Like, we had some good times. Like, that's what I mean. Like, when I say I had some good times working with Jason, it was working with Tom as well, and Matt was there. And so, like, I seen everything that went on, and, like, they would go to races, and I would stay back and obviously get stuff ready for the following week. So I didn't see the madness at the races, but the fun and the madness we had in the week was, we had a lot of fun. We made it fun, so it was cool for Jason, so we enjoyed riding his dirt bike. And I think when they went to Cowie's first year, it really showed like how he was enjoying his riding. He was riding really well. He's not riding well now, but that first year on Kawasaki, he was ripping.
Yeah, you're right. And Jason kind of, I don't know Jason well enough to know. He's sort of almost an enigma. You never really, at least I can't from the outside, figure out why sometimes he's riding really well and why sometimes he's not. And I really feel like it comes down to he has to be happy. I'm not sure if that's all of it, but if he's not super happy, then I think he just sort of like, all right, I'm just going to do my job. But when he's happy, he's unreal.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And the big thing, like, I don't know if you guys remember, but first year on Cowie, he won the last 4 races for Supercross.
Yes.
And at that time, he had just got a property in his hometown where he's from in New Mexico in Albuquerque, and he built a Supercross track. And I was with him through the whole of that.
Okay.
And it was me, Jason, and Tom going to the track for like weeks on end, just grinding away. But when I say grinding, like Jason rides more than most people I've ever met. People don't understand that. Like, he rides a lot. Like, he would wear bikes out, and I would be constantly working. But he was having fun with it. Like, Tom's making videos. We're having fun afterwards. We're going for good food. Like, the whole environment was really cool. I don't know now what his environment's like, but at the time, I feel like that was why we had so much fun. And his results were good. But not only that, I got to know Jason on a very personal level because I lived with him as well as worked with him. So I was very real with him. Like, if he was riding bad, I'd be like, dude, this ain't it today. Like, what are you doing? And he'd be like, and he would just get straight back out there and get after it, you know? Where, you know how it is, some of these riders, like, people, they're yes men, and they're like, oh, no, you're good. Where me and Tom, we would just be real with him, and I think that showed in a lot of it, you know?
100%.
So you go from that to then working as a practice mechanic or the testing mechanic for Honda. Did you have time with Joe before you became his mechanic? Or was it like, all right, now you're working for this kid named Joe who doesn't speak English very well?
Yeah. Well, no, actually, in between, like, end of Jason, I worked for MDK for the first Supercross, at World Supercross, you know? So I'd done that, and I built all the bikes for World Supercross for that MDK team at the time. I built them out of the Twisted shop. But yeah, when I went to, I was happy being a test mechanic. Like, I've done the race gig before in Australia for a long time, so I knew what it was about, and I knew it's more work here. So I was loving the test gig. And then one day Lars goes, hey, we got Joe coming over, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Didn't think nothing of it. And then we actually go to a photo shoot, and he's like, when he come across, and he's like, yeah, if you want it, you're going to be Joe's mechanic. And I was like, oh, God damn, okay. Like, you know, like, English kid, like, people struggle to understand me in the shop as it is. And then a Japanese kid, like, this is going to be a mix right now, you know, but we got along. I feel like we hit it off really well, and we get along, and we laugh and joke around at the track, and he's such a cool kid. Once you get to know him, like, his interviews that he does on TV, seems very shy and quiet, but once you get to know him on a personal level, he's actually super funny and good guy.
Yeah, we've seen some signs of that in the past when him and Hunter and Jet were pretty tight back in the day, you know, and they would kind of make fun of each other when they're on the podium. You know, you could see that and I've heard some stories with people that have hung out with him that he is a jokester.
What was he did with what did he ride on his stomach that one time? Like, he wrote Sharpie on his stomach.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot what he said, but that was like, he do what?
Wasn't that Bud Freak when he was on PT and he wrote "I Love America" or
something? Team like USA or something like that. Yeah.
Like, you see stuff like that, and it's like and that was one of the things I wanted to ask you, Ben, was like, how have you kind of seen him come out of his show? We had him on the show a couple weeks ago, and I complimented him on that from the first time that we've had him on the show a couple years ago to now, he's really grown into himself, and it's got to be cool to see from your end as well.
Yeah, it's really cool. And I actually listened to something Hunter said about it the other day about, like, his fashion, like, and the way he is. Obviously, he's Japanese, so his, like, upbringing was a lot different than most people's. But just as a person, he's a good dude. I actually joke around with him, and I call him PJ because he's got such, like, crazy skill on the bike. I call him a psycho. So I call him Psycho Joe, like PJ. And I even ride it on the pit board sometimes. And I'm like, if he's having a bad race, I'm like, show me PJ. You know what I mean? Like, just to, like, make it a little fun, like we're at the practice track, and then when you see it sometimes late in the race, he'll just turn it on and get going.
Yeah, so let's touch on that.
We saw the clip. Yeah.
Let's touch on that because we've heard, you know, us in the media have talked about it, where it's like it seems like he comes on at the end every season. It kind of seems to be the same. And he says, well, I'm not riding any different. So what is your take on that? You're around him all the time. You work with him. And when you look at his results, actually, they seem more consistent than maybe we remember. He just has a couple, maybe some crashes or whatever, but it does feel like his results improve throughout the season.
Yeah, well, obviously coming across to us, he had to get used to our bike a little bit, and that's only normal, I feel like, with any rider. But he also had, if you actually look at his results on paper, they're not great, but you look at A1, he was 4th, right?
Yep.
And he was right on the back. He comes from like 10th, and he ended up right on the back of Levi at A1, like it's half a second difference. And the leaders were right there. But on paper, he gets 4th. He's not on the podium. He's not on TV. Goes to the second round. I think we went 4th again, and then he went DNF, and then we went 4th, and then he went on a podium run. Like, it doesn't look great on paper, but if you actually watch the races, you see where he's riding. He's actually been riding really good. It's just, it's just, I don't know. It's a tough one, I guess. It's just the way he is.
Ben, the injury that he had this weekend was kind of interesting how it happened. Like he was obviously riding really good, and they were charging, and that track was super treacherous. And TV doesn't always do it justice. It did seem like he didn't go down too hard, maybe just hit it just right. Has he had issues with that before? Is that something that he's been nursing? Was he surprised by it? How did he kind of react to it?
Well, he had broke his collarbone before, but it was his other one. It was his right collarbone, so he broke his left. But I was actually talking to Barnett about this, and he said the TV doesn't do it justice, but where he actually crashed, it's like the track's raised up, and he fell onto the water lane, and he didn't get time to put his hands out, and he just went straight to his shoulder. I don't know if you've ever broken a collarbone, but it doesn't take a lot of pressure to actually break it. It's catch it in the right spot.
Yep.
So no, it wasn't a past injury. He wasn't nursing it or anything like that. It's just, I don't know. It's just dirt bikes at the end of the day, and it's just, it's not if, it's when you're going to get hurt, you know. And unfortunately for Joe, he was battling for the lead, and that happened.
Yeah, I just pulled up his results right here, just outdoor results. Overalls this season, like you might not think this, but he went 6-5, 4-4, 3-3, 13-3 up through Washougal. Those are the ones I just have wrote down. So, actually a really consistent year and a great year, honestly. I mean, those results are great. It sucks that it finished this way. Well, it's not really – I guess he'll probably be back for is he getting it plated, or do we know? He had surgery today, didn't he?
Yeah, he had surgery today. I spoke to him yesterday, and I actually spoke to him when he left the track, and he's like, we're riding SMS.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
We're coming back. And I'm like, all right, we'll be ready. He's like, yep, we'll be ready. And I'm like, that's what I like about him. That's the side of it that people don't see from Joe, you know?
Right.
Rub some dirt on it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ben Griffith tonight.
Brush it off.
Yeah, Ben Griffith tonight brought to you by ProX. Ben, I want to get with you on this. This is something that happened, I think it was at Southwick. We had Brent Duff on. You guys remember the pit board incident.
Oh,
Ben was the other guy involved with that.
That's
so
right,
I want to get
right.
Ben's side of that. What do you remember from that moment? If you want to talk about it.
No, I don't care. Like, I got nothing to hide. I'll say this, like, I'm a very passionate person when it comes to racing. As you know, like, us mechanics, we work our butts off to get them bikes on the track and make them 100% every weekend, you know. So for me, when I put that headset on, I only see Joe on the track. I see everybody around me, but I'm listening and I'm zoned. I'm like, right, my guy's winning. Like, I'm manifesting this guy to win.
Yeah.
You know? And I see everybody around me, but if somebody is, how do I put this? Well, Joe was in the lead. You got to remember, like, first race Joe got 9th, and no one put him in the winner. And I'm like, dude, listen, you get the start. You're going to run with these guys. We had a red flag, restart. Joe comes out. First start, he was like 7th. Second start, he's 4th. I'm like, we're there. Like, we're on now.
Yeah.
And Joe told me before the weekend started, he even said, I've never missed a podium. And I'm doing the math in my head, that second moto, I'm like, he needs to win to get there. Like, he has to win this race. So, anyway, 5 laps to go. I think it was 6 laps to go. He gets to the lead. And I'm like, swinging off the pit board, like, come on, fire it up, you know? Like, every mechanic is in that area. And Brent, I'm friends with Brent, but, like, he blocked my board 5 laps in a row, and I heard the interview, and he said he didn't see me, which is fair enough. I get it, but he's got bloody eyes. He can see me, you know? And I said, I didn't say nothing, and then the last lap, I obviously hit the board because obviously there was a video of it, and I walked off because you can't. I don't know. You guys have obviously been Southwick, and as soon as they go past the pitboard area, you can't see a thing.
Yep.
Like the riders disappear over the back section, so I walk and I watch the monitor. Brent comes down just barking in my ear, and I'm like, hey, I'm not having this. I just didn't say nothing at first, and then I just lost it. I ain't gonna lie. Like, I just showed my emotion, and I just said, hey, bud, listen, like, that ain't it. Like, not right now. I got a job. And then we go to the podium. It was all good. And then we calmed down, and I got to the impound. And I'm the type of person, if I have a problem with somebody, I'm having it out with you. I'm not going to talk crap behind your back. I'm just going to say it to your face. So I would just said, hey, this is a deal. Like it or not, like, you blocked my board. And he was like, no, I didn't. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, all right, you didn't, but you did. And that's the deal. I'm not talking about it anymore. Don't do it again. Else the pitbull's coming out your hand next time. You know? And that was it. That's all I said. And I thought we was cool.
Yeah.
And then he came on here and said what he said. And I'm like, dude, that ain't it. But, oh well. You live and learn. And it's racing at the end of the day. I'm cool with Duff. I got no dramas. Like, he might have thrown against me, but I whatever.
Yeah, I bet he's fine. There's just, I mean, look, there's a lot of money on the line. There's a lot of, I mean, it's sports, man. It's competition.
Yeah.
You guys in the mechanics area are just as fired up and just as passionate as the racers are. So yeah, it just happens. Yeah. I'm sure you guys are fine. Duff's a good dude. But yeah.
I knew Brent from when he came down to Australia with Brayton, you know, all them years. So that's how I actually got to know him. So he was a good dude down there to me, and I was cool to him. And even like this weekend, like, mechanics have etiquette in the pitboard area. If you're having a battle with a rider, whoever's rider's in front, they stand first in the pitboard area, you know?
Okay.
And you normally say up or down with the board.
Yep.
You know? So I'll say up. So I'll put mine high, and the guy who I'm battling with stands behind me, he puts his low. And at the weekend, when that second moto, actually, when Levi, then Joe, then Hayden was there, I said, hey, Duff, up or down? And he like kind of looked at me, and I said, up or down? And he was like, I said, I'm going up. And then he went down, and he was like, all right, cool, yeah, I know. And then, so, like, I got no dramas. It's just heat of the moment stuff, and I'm over it.
Yeah, move on, right? It's I get it, but I appreciate you coming on and giving us your side of it. What you had something, Scotty?
Yeah, I was just going to say, Ben, with you mentioned the amount of work that you guys put in to make sure that these bikes are ready to go, and it's a safety thing. So you take a lot of pride in that, and I appreciate the work the mechanics do for their riders and the fact that they put their jobs on the line for them. With that being said, with this different track conditions, which ones do you kind of get the most nervous about? Sand, mud, clutches burning out. What kind of scenario do you worry about the most?
Honestly, I think for every mechanic, their biggest worry is a mud race, because especially with the power of these bikes these days, they run on a very fine line. So you don't want to see a bike overheating, and generally, if you see a bike stop these days, it's from overheating. So yeah, mud race is like from the past weekend at Unadilla, when it's raining all day Friday, you're scratching your head like,
here we
how
go.
am I going to prevent this? Yeah, here's another one. And especially West Coast this year, Supercross, we had a lot of mud races,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot.
So you dealing with like you said, the 250s, they're built to the nines and just completely maxed out. Do the Is it like that much easier, like being a mechanic on the 450 side?
Yes and no. Because they still rev them bikes pretty hard, and they're the same deal. You know what I mean? They're made to want maximum performance out of them. So I would say maybe a touch easier, yeah. But as a mechanic, it doesn't matter what motorcycle you're on or what track you're on. Everybody will tell you they get anxiety and they just want to see that bike finish. And you're thinking to yourself, even though you triple check it, you're like, did I put the gas cap on? Did I put this on tight? You know, like, it's just them little things that run through your mind, especially when you guys in the lead. You're like, whew.
Yeah. Ben, before we let you go, I was going through your Instagram just a little bit, trying to, learn some things about you, and I saw some posts about Club Local. Tell us what that is.
That's kind of an interesting one. So, actually, it's funny how that come about. So, I had a friend of mine come over here and race last year at Washougal, and he was like, hey, I want to come across. I want to race Washougal. I want to do some testing with the KYD guys. And I was like, oh, okay. He's like, can I come stay at your house? I'll rent your truck off you. Blah, blah, blah. And at the time he was riding for Honda, and Honda let him borrow a bike. And then anyway, he raced Washougal National. I took him and we raced. And then on the way home, he was like, dude, you know you've got so many contacts up in Europe or Australia or even here now. Why don't you do like a side business where you like rent bikes out and a vehicle to people so they can come across and race? And I was like, I thought about it for a while and I was like, I'm busy. Like, I don't want that. And then anyway, I had a couple people hit me up about it and done it. And then, so yeah, I started Club Local and I got people, they just come to my house, they rent a bike, they rent a van, they bring a gear bag, I supply them with tools, place to work on their bike, and they just go riding for a week, give me everything back all clean and tidy, and then they fly home.
How long have you been doing that?
So I've been doing it about a year now. I don't really push it during season, to be honest, because I'm so busy with work. Because obviously I have Joe here in California, so I just practice and race stuff. But like upcoming races on in season, like the World Vets or Day in the Dirt, people from Australia and England want to come and race that. So yeah, so for stuff like that, people are booked up and they're going to come and do that.
I got you.
Nice.
Okay, I got a question for you because that's a pretty interesting idea for that business. What's the worst experience you've had as far as somebody coming back with a bike with like bent forks or something?
I actually haven't had nothing like that so far. Touch wood, so I don't want to jinx myself too much, but no, the worst thing actually is kind of breaking stuff in a vehicle and then that they rent off me and they're not telling me, and then they leave and I'm away at the race and the girlfriend's out with it and then something's broken, and then that's kind of like, God damn, I didn't catch that. But
yeah,
that's like that's all part of it, that's why you have insurance, and it's just part of renting vehicles out, I guess.
For somebody who's interested in that, what does that cost to have to show up at your place, pick up a bike and a van?
Well, it's all different because some people just want a bike, and then so it's like a certain price for the bike, certain price for the van. Then if you want to stay at the house, so it all depends really what package you want to do. Like some people just come and hire a bike. Some guy just come and rented a van off me, a truck off me for like 2 months.
Oh wow!
Took the truck for 2 months, and so yeah, it all kind of varies. I got set prices for each bike. Like a bike's like $200 a day, but you get everything with it. Like I give you a box of tools, a gas can, a stand, and you just take the bike, ride it, and bring it back to me. And then like the vehicle's like $70 a day, and then stay at the house is like $80.
Oh, that's cool.
And then the girlfriend is she done a little like clothing line that we do.
I have to swear, also, so. He was about to put a price on the girlfriend.
I was waiting, like the girlfriend's $100 a day.
Hey guys, give me a break. I'm not that bad.
Hey, I'm kind of a business guy. I was thinking I could rent the wife.
As long as she cooks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Ben, this has been fun getting to know you, man. I really appreciate you reaching out and coming on. It's really been cool, man. And I look forward to the next. I don't know what. I guess Fort Worth is the next one I'll be at. So SMX. So I'll definitely have to come by and say hi. And appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, no worries. Like I said, story's a little different than most that have got to wear to a factory gig, but I think it's very unique and it's kind of cool, really.
Absolutely. It was really cool to hear the story, and we'll definitely have to get you on again in the near future once Joe gets back to racing and once SMX starts.
Yeah, no worries at all. Thanks for having me, guys. I do appreciate it a lot.
All right, Ben. Have a good night, bud.
You too, guys.
Right.
See ya.
Thanks. Bye. That's Ben Griffith, brought to you by ProX. We'll jump back into the Evans Coolant emails.
Yeah.
And then we'll do the EVS picks for Bud's Creek, and we'll wrap this thing up. Just got an update from Cooper Webb.
I don't know.
Cooper Webb says, I asked how he's feeling. Says, not great, but will be okay for SMX. So, maybe
that's such a... He was like, dang, I should have just gone to Bud's.
All right, so Evans Coolant emails. Evans waterless coolant protects your engine because it always stays liquid. Steam inside the engine creates hot spots and detonation, but with Evans, the metal is always liquid cooled. Used by HRC Honda, Factory Beta USA, and Pro Factory Yamaha, and lots of other teams. Regardless of sponsorship, Evans is in the bikes on the podium. Evans Coolant emails. Let me open this photo up. Our guy Vince Pale from T-Bolt USA sent one. And it says SMX ripple effect. It's cool to see how things are shaping up since the advent of SMX. Riders are doing things in MX just to gain points, switching teams earlier than ever before, coming back after injury to get up to the speed for SMX. Do you see anything else new since SMX was initiated into the season? And I think really what he touched on are the main things, right? That these guys, there's a bigger importance put on to
Moto.
Just Moto in general, or coming back from injury, not taking, I'm just going to sit out till Supercross starts again. SMX is bringing the athletes back sooner and putting a higher importance on results for some of the guys that are on that bubble.
I think it actually had the biggest positive effect on the outdoors.
Yeah.
Because guys, like you said, the outdoors is a slog. It's a lot of work. There is no money to, like, you make a top 10 in outdoors or top 20 in the outdoors. It's not anywhere close to what a top 20 would be at Supercross pay. So guys will just sit out and be like, I'm going to get completely ready. But now they're coming back, and honestly, it was the biggest win for MX Sports. I don't know if it actually made any positive effect to Supercross, except for
maybe the partnership.
But it definitely helped MX Sports.
Scotty, any thoughts on it? You see anything that stands out from just having SMX around?
Well, the thing I want to point out with SMX is the money's great, and I think it's awesome, especially like look at what Shane's going through to try to get to the SMX and make that extra. It's a bonus for them. I think that part of it is fantastic for the riders. What I don't really like about it's not that I don't like. It seems like we're like, oh well, that person's SMX champion. Like they did this. Deegan won his first championship. This lore of that this great thing. Like no, it's a 3-race little mini series. If you win it, cool. The money's rewarding, and so it makes it important. It makes those 3 races very cool. But to say that it's like this giant, like, oh, they won the whole year because they won SMX, I disagree with that.
Well, I mean, if they don't do well in Supercross and Motocross, they're less likely to win. So it is, I mean,
yeah, but the points don't really matter once they get it there. Once they get to the double round points,
to the top
10. But those 15, are the only guys that have a chance to winning.
I was going to say to the top 12 to 15 riders, like the points throughout the year probably don't make that big a difference unless you're like, let's just say somehow or another, like Tomac didn't get a win, right? And he has to earn his way in. So that does make a difference. That those guys would come back for that.
Yeah, but that's an injury based scenario. I'm just
saying. Like I think that's. I agree with you.
I think they maybe are overhyping it a little, but long term, I think it's going to turn into. I think it will evolve, and I think it will become very important eventually.
Yeah, It's not. Well, it's hard to beat to me. Is because it's like that you get double points in outdoors. So basically, if you just show up and get 15th, 16th in outdoors, you're going to be in the playoffs. So it's like the quality of rider in Supercross. It doesn't regulate the quality of rider. I don't think.
I would like to see the numbers on that, like the guys that did just the Supercross, like we had to do 450 or even 250 because 250.
That's what happens. All these guys, like last year, Colton, all these guys started showing up because they had enough points in Supercross. They weren't doing outdoors, and they're like, "All right, well, I got to show up and get some points to make this."
Yeah, I mean that's what guys like Dean are just. I mean, about to be out.
Yeah, if you're in the top 18,
Justin Hill.
If you're in top 18, right, that's what they take straight to it, right?
20.
Is it 20?
Yep.
So there's only 2 spots available for the night show. There's only 22 riders so only 2 spots out of the LCQ.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, I thought it was 4. Okay, it doesn't matter.
I think it's 2. I maybe I remember wrong, but I think I think 20 are locked in.
But if you're in the top 20 and you're locked in, you make all the rounds, even if you get last every time, you're guaranteed $25,000.
Yeah. I mean, like it's not that exciting this year because I'm looking at the points because I'm supposed to write something about it on Vital, and like the guys looking at the 450s right now, the guys that are outside that right now are LCQ bound, the top 2 are Dean Wilson, Justin Hill. Then you got Adam Cianciarulo, who's out. Benny is out. Pope or Pape?
Poppy?
Oh. Is it Poppy?
No, that's somebody else.
Yeah. Those guys, like, I don't think it's going to change any. Those guys are, like, I don't know if Dean or Justin are racing in any of the next 2 or not for sure.
Yeah.
They're probably not going to get in. Like, I think it's set right now. Like, there's really no hope. And then even the 250 class, Dylan Schwartz is really the only guy. He's in 21st right now in the 250 class.
How many
Oh,
people... sorry.
No,
and nobody else is going to move up.
Now, how many people can sign up for that? Like to go in? Like, is there a cutoff where, all right, you didn't make enough points, you can't even sign up as the LCQ?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's something you put in your article?
I should know, but I don't know.
I mean, if you write an article about it, you should know these things.
Well, that's not actually the idea of the article.
C
it's just the idea.
C plus.
the idea behind the article is the guys that are on the bubble, what they would have to do to get in, or the guys that are on inside right now, the top 20. Could they what do we predict is going to happen?
We know
with
how
those
boring
guys?
that is. You just said so that you can add this. part
maybe
in.
we'll come up with something else.
More words.
Yeah.
All right.
The only reason my point is that it's great that these guys have something that they can work towards the whole season to get basically a bonus for them. But to think that Shane's doing this, a guy like Shane is doing this because he wants to be top 12 in the SMX points. No, he wants $34,000.
Yeah, of course.
So like let's just call it what it is. It's a dash for cash at the end of the season. It's no different than the Monster Cup to me as far as regards of the quality of like what it means to get that position. It's a bonus race.
I say it's more than Monster Cup because it's 3 rounds.
Do you remember?
It's 3 rounds of Monster Cup.
Do you remember like asking about maybe getting a credential for Fort Worth?
Oh yeah, I was actually about to meet in a
I'm gonna say Sean's probably gonna no, not now. Because you just shit on SMX.
How am I shitting on SMX?
It's because it's a big deal to them. It's a massive championship. You just said no, it's not.
Yeah, I can't believe it.
So, as a matter of fact,
but maybe you need to go. No, maybe he needs to go.
No, Sean just said no credential for.
Maybe he needs to go so he can see
but
it.
You get one.
He said, "Dark Side's like ding ding ding." My phone went off. Oh my goodness!
I am not going.
Okay. All right.
Funny you bring that up. I was actually going to talk to you about that after the show.
Okay.
Well, I mean, it's too late.
Let's
now.
try to wrap this up because we got to get this thing closed out.
Oh my God. He's such a
Vital's not going to publish anything I say anyway, so who cares?
Yeah, that's true.
No, you just said it on the air for everybody.
Well, I know, but like if I was at the race, then nobody would even know I was there.
Well, that's because you don't.
There's a whole other reason for him not to give you a credential. What is he going to get out of it? I tried. I wanted to do it. I wanted to do a documentary of you, A Day in the Side of the Dark, but you crapped on that idea. Well, where's that going to go?
Exactly. I had an idea. It's not my fault that
that you don't have the program to.
Yeah, I should. It's right there.
You could text ML and tell him your idea.
Yeah.
ML's not going to care about that.
That's why I was told it.
Yeah.
That way you don't say no. That way you don't have to keep being a dick to him.
So somebody else can tell him that's dumb.
Yeah.
Or not reply.
Okay. Thoughts on Motocross and Nations? Like, who would you pick? Who are your top guys right now? Vince Pale sent that also in. He said for him, Sexton, AP, Hayden.
Yeah.
But I think Hayden's going to have
Hayden's
surgery. He's not. He hasn't said for sure he's out, but he's going to have surgery.
Like, I think that's anyways, I can't imagine
I didn't realize it was for surgery.
2 years of not going is just going to look bad, no matter what the reasons are.
If it is for surgery, I can live with that more. But to just not go, after
he's got
all this
his wrist is still
fanfare,
jacked up.
yeah,
from
okay.
Earth's.
Yeah, well, anyways,
And then I don't.
it's only 1 week after SMX, isn't it?
There might be a week in between. I'd have to look at the schedule, but
2 weeks.
I don't know. Tell you, man, I don't know if Star wants because Max Anstey said something. He could go for UK, and he's like, yeah, I don't know that they're going to pay for that. The team.
Yeah.
So, but just put who your team would be under the perfect
Sexton, AP, and then who? I don't know who you put 250. That's where I'm at.
See, I put Levi, but Kawasaki won't do it.
Yeah, Cowie won't. That's what I was saying.
So J Coop.
Well, I was going to say
drops down.
No,
but then J Coop's on.
It's going to be
It's on
Deegan,
Star.
but then
I don't know that.
and then it was going to be
absolutely
Chance,
no.
and then it was going to be Chance.
That's
so
what
now
I'm saying.
Chance.
So now we don't have Chance.
Well, he's not out. and so
I don't
think it'll be
believe that
Chance.
Star's not going to send anyone. I just don't. So I'm going to say Sexton, AP, J Coop.
I think Chance. I like what he's saying because
I'd love to see Chance go. Yeah,
Yeah.
If he's not too banged up and he's good by then, Chance would be. Like I said, I would go with Chance for sure.
I can't believe you would pick J Coop dropping down over Hymas.
Well, I don't know how hurt Hymas is, so
Well,
that's why he's not on my list
say
right
that
now.
Why you're hating on Hymas? I just don't understand why you have such hate.
Hymas is one of my guys. I just don't know how healthy he is.
I mean, it sounds like one of your guys. Like you don't have no faith in him.
Who's your guys?
I think it should be Chase, Plessinger, and Deegan. I mean, obviously, if
Deegan's not going, we know that
for a fact.
Yeah,
you just said he may go.
No, not.
You said you literally. He literally.
Okay, no,
he was saying
Hayden
he's
has
out.
said he needs to get surgery.
But you literally just said that he may not be out.
Well, anyways,
I suppose he could change his mind,
but
he has said he's going to do surgery.
Everybody would pick Deegs if he goes.
Of
So,
course.
but if Deegs doesn't go, who do you put on 250?
Well, until this weekend chance. I mean, that's exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Is he out for the next weekend?
I don't know.
I don't think
I don't know. I think he's just sore and hurt right now.
By the time that comes around, I would say Chance.
I think if I was
even with or without the incident this weekend, he's probably just a little banged up. But
yeah,
if he's healthy, then yeah, Chance.
I agree.
Yeah. Anybody other than Chance? If Chance is hurt, besides dropping down 450, I mean,
I think dropping J Coop down would be cool. He's done it before.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like he's the best option.
I think you're right.
Does he want to do that though? That's another question.
Jalik,
yeah,
Marchbanks, that's Kawasaki. Yeah, then you got Pierce Brown. George
Faith
Smith,
said that
Ty Masterpool, but that's again Kawasaki.
Faith said that Lewis said on the review pod that Hayden may be back into going.
Oh, well, there you go. That'd
Thank
be great.
God we have real.
Thanks,
like,
Faith.
A+ journalists.
Yep.
around.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Put her on the payroll.
Talk to your coworkers. They're doing a great job.
Okay, good times.
Somebody did say that there was a Vital thread that's asked, or who was it? Oh, I saw it up here. Anyways, ask if if Vital has ruined Dark.
Oh yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, there was a Vital thread saying, has Vital MX ruined Dark Side?
I haven't seen that thread. I was looking at the forum today.
It's
but
a good question. It's a really
is there something else?
Did it have any posted? That's
I don't know. Just somebody posted it.
Yeah, we'll have to look for that. Was there something else you said? I thought you said there was something you wanted to bring up. Maybe not.
Nope.
We still have a couple more segments.
We have one more segment.
Well, let's get to it.
EVS picks for Bud's Creek.
Oh yeah, one more segment.
Yep. So what do you got, TJ? Who you got for Buds? Oh,
you don't
by
have
the
to
way,
read?
the email contest for last week, which was who did better, Ken Rocks and Cooper Webb. And if you got one of the positions right, you might get some goggles. Nobody got any positions.
I put Roxanne in front of Webb.
Yeah, but you had to get the finishing position right also.
Yeah.
And nobody was even really close on that. So no goggles this week, guys. Sorry.
At the beginning of that second moto, I was like, oh, I might be right.
Yeah.
Roxanne might get third.
Everybody had him doing better. Or everybody had both of them doing better.
He did fine. He rode fine.
But they still, yes, they picked him to be like top 4 or 5.
Yeah.
But
Well, he was there.
I didn't.
It doesn't
Good
matter.
job, TJ.
TJ, what are your picks for
Something
Buds?
else I like about myself.
He didn't pick Kenny to be good at Unadilla.
I would say probably it's going to be Sexton, Hunter, Bud's Creek, AP.
Okay.
I mean, yeah. I mean, that makes the most sense, but it's just like it's every week it's kind of been the same thing.
I picked Hunter to win actually. I picked him for Ironman early in the show, but when I wrote my picks down yesterday, I picked him for the overall at Bud. So I guess I'm giving him 2 overalls to finish the season.
Yeah,
I'll stick with it.
I would almost put a wager against that he won.
Tomac 1-1.
Okay.
That's it.
All right.
He's the only person on the podium.
That's another guy that
Tomac's gonna get first, second, and third.
That's another guy that maybe for Motocross Nations. That's still 2 months away.
I don't think you can have that conversation until we see him ride.
Yeah.
Because I would have been.
But in 2 months, that dude might be like on it.
Before the weekend, I was I was Cooper Webb all the way.
I know
he's
that
a dog and he's going to fight, but now I'm
he struggles outdoors though.
Yeah,
Scotty.
I know that. I'm not really well. That's for the fun of it. Yeah, I'll pick ET.
Okay.
I know that it's not really like. Can we not have a conversation about it?
I'm just trying to wrap this up.
Oh my God! Our listeners are having a great time listening to us.
I got something I got to do.
Okay. All right. If like it wouldn't be like the craziest thing in the world if he did. Like I feel
like it'd be pretty crazy.
I know he's not set up for this and he's not coming into this with high expectations, but like what if he did?
That'd be awesome. I'd love it. So we're going ET. Who's second?
I won't put him first. I'll put him third.
Okay,
I'm gonna put ET.
All right, ET's now down to third.
I want to put
not going 1-1.
I want to put
he goes 1-1.
I'm going to put Sexton first, AP second.
Oh, poor man. Why does he hate Hunter so much?
I don't. I'm just trying to throw a wrench in the plan.
All right. Send your picks to MotoXpod
and then Hunter blames the new bike.
His bike was terrible.
The bike setup we're struggling with.
Oh, my goodness. All right.
We were in a loose program tonight, but it's okay.
I think that's every week, though.
Yeah, some are looser than tighter than. I
guess they are, Scotty.
Yeah.
I think we should end on that.
Okay.
Can we start clipping stuff?
I want to thank Christian Craig, Ben Griffith, Shane McElrath for coming on the show. I want to thank our presenting sponsors, Race Tech and Yamaha Motor USA. I want to thank Guts Racing, FXR, X-Brand, Pro X, EVS Protection, Evans Coolant, Barnett Clutches, T-Bolt USA. We're back next week. So, Tita, you don't know for sure if you're going to be in next week? Because
I'll know.
All right,
I'll know.
We'll talk afterwards. All right. Cool. Other than that, guys,
I'll be here.
We'll be back next. Yeah, we don't care. Be back next week. And that, we're out.